Very sexy song for a very sexy end to last night's San Diego Padres game. Welcome in, everybody. Ben and Woods, 97.3, The Fan. Woo-hoo-hoo! Mamacita. I am a little hot and bothered this morning. I know you guys listening are as well. Thanks so much for being here. However you choose to consume Ben and Woods, whether it be on your radio, your smart speaker, whether you go back and listen later, whether you watch on the YouTube feed, we really appreciate it. From the bottom of our hearts, you have allowed us to extend, this kind of dream gig and not have to get a real job. So we really, really appreciate it very, very much. Can't thank you enough. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie.
Good morning.
And Benjamin Higgins, my fellow Army green shirt guy. We've done it again, and we didn't mean to do it. We are matching again. This is insane.
It's not insane because you guys gifted me, Paulie gifted me, the same kind of T-shirts that you guys fell in love with, but there's only a certain number of colors, and I wear them probably more than half the time, as do you, which means there's always a chance we're going to grab the same T-shirt now every single morning.
I did not think about that when I got him his
I really didn't
gift
either.
set
Yeah,
of
that's fine.
12 T-shirts or
Yeah.
whatever it was.
Yeah.
It's not like we're going to go hang out with each other after the show for a long period of time, and it's going to be awkward. If we weren't on YouTube, no one would ever know
No
that
one
we're
would
wearing
know.
the same
We'd
shirt.
still point it out, though.
But we'll
Yeah.
point it out to everybody that's listening that, yes, Woods and I are once again twinsies.
Stolen valor, I think, for both of us in these shirts, to be honest
Army
with you.
green.
Army green, yeah. I've got those camos.
Hey, at ease, soldier.
Yeah, seriously. I don't ever want to ever be accused of stealing anyone's valor because I have no valor. So I don't want to steal anyone's. But great to be here with you guys. Certainly. Phenomenal ending to the game last night. Just a brilliant win for our Padres. And yeah, again, I mean, they're taking days off the ticker for sure, watching games like that, but better with a dub than not.
It becomes harder and harder every day to find things to worry about with this team.
It really does.
And now I've kind of reduced myself to, well, I mean, they're using up all their really great wins. I mean, they just keep coming from behind, and
This can't sustain.
there's a limited supply, and save some of these for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Why are you using them all up right now? It doesn't work that way.
Yeah, no doubt.
Probably works the other way. The more you do it, the more likely you are to keep doing it in the future because you're just building that confidence that not only have I done it before, I've done it many times before, and I'm about to do it again.
Yeah.
And last night's game, and we'll talk about it, was truly one of the first Padres games in my life that they were trailing 5-0, and I didn't even feel remotely like the game was over.
No, I wasn't mad. I didn't have that feeling of like you guys coming on, out of an off day. This is what you get. No, I didn't feel that at all. I was doing the rationalization. Padres Nuggets for our 97.3 The Fan roundtable. That is going to happen at 10 a.m. after we are off the air. We're going to go right back on the air for an hour of commercial-free Padres talk. Hopefully the whole crew is here today. What it did do to me last night, I don't know if you saw my tweet, but when we tied the game, when Manny tied it, it got me out of my bed and it got me into the kitchen. And I do and it's one of my fatal flaws is the nervous snacking. I'm not hungry. But I just can't lay there in bed, and so I nervous snack. So I got some wasabi flavored almonds, which are like my favorite thing. I love them so much. You like
tell
those?
if you were going to say
I
either
do.
good or bad.
I do not.
You don't
but
like those?
No, I mean
The Blue Diamond wasabi almonds.
I don't like wasabi.
wasabi's a flavor that I'm okay with when it's like in my sushi just a little
Sure.
bit, but I don't seek it out in other forms.
Nor do I. These are the only. My kids will not eat one. If you put a drop of Tabasco on their eggs, they will eat these wasabi almonds by the handful, and they're so hot they burn your nose. The whole thing. I don't get it.
That
makes
makes
no
no
sense.
sense.
But so I get that and a string cheese. So I ate that, and then we're still battling, and we get to the late. I go back to the room, and then I get up and I start walking around again. Hannah's dead asleep. Kids are dead asleep. And I'm just walking around the house, and I go, you know what sounds good? And I'm taking my Ambien at this point, so I'm kind of half in, half out. And I go, a grilled cheese. Sounds really good. I get the pan out, the butter, the bread. I make
So
a
you
grilled
make,
cheese sandwich.
how do you make your grilled cheese? So with butter, because some
Butter.
people do with mayo. Some
I
people do
saw
with
somebody
butter.
tweeted that to me, and I don't
Butter.
understand that.
Butter.
You don't like mayo, and you don't like mayo.
I can tolerate mayo.
Two people.
like on a sandwich.
Last
I
night.
don't mind when mayo transforms something into something else. I don't want it oozing out of a sandwich.
So Bush League Blake, our buddy, tweeted, "Do you make yours with?" Or I think it was Bush League Blake. Somebody else, maybe Zach. Somebody said, "Do you make yours with butter or mayo?" And I go, "Well, butter, because I'm not a pervert."
Like
I've
wouldn't
never
have
heard
thought
of that.
I wouldn't have thought of it.
I've never heard of
I think
that.
mayo can be the a bit of a cop out in that you don't have to soften it at all to spread it on the bread before you grill it. It's already nice and soft and spreadable, which adds
Save
to the
that.
convenience factor.
Please save that.
You want a little hack though. So how do you soften your butter?
We have a butter softener.
You have a butter softener.
The tray. With
Like
the-
you just
with
leave
the-
it out, like under a bell, like under
There's
just on the counter.
Yeah,
so
there's
it's already soft.
We have a blue thing. You put the stick on it.
I don't trust it.
But it has a
I want
cap on it.
Well, yeah,
A
so
heavy
I know
cap.
flies don't get on it, but you're still leaving butter out. Butter is a dairy product. I think it belongs in the refrigerator.
No, it's good. It's good. It's super soft.
Well, it's super soft, but are you sure that it isn't spoiling?
Yeah, I feel great. I think we ripped through enough
Aren't you
butter,
risking
too.
though putting spoiled butter on your bread
I don't think
when
so.
you're leaving it out? How
No.
long has it been out?
I mean,
how quickly do you go through butter? at
We
your
probably
house?
go through a stick of butter a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the kids eating
I
toast.
just
and
feel like it's a little dicey.
it's not. It's great.
I grew up with we had a
Yeah,
little
the butter
tray
stock, the
and
tray
yeah.
with the cloche kind of thing on top.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
You
you,
want,
yeah,
want
you
a
don't-
little hack though for
Yeah.
cold butter?
yeah.
Cheese grater.
Oh.
Take the cold butter, run it through the cheese grater, and then you've got a pile of very soft butter that's now just on a plate, and you can use it to spread. You don't have to, because the microwave, the soften in the microwave setting never works properly.
Dub J says he goes through 1 to 2 sticks a day. What are you guys making?
I'm
over
impressed.
there? What do you just
It's a lot of butter.
like chicken marsala?
Good southern
and-
cooking.
Yeah, biscuits and stuff. Now there's no parasites on there, Anthony.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
telling
there's
you, they're
parasites.
delicious. It's delicious.
I mean, the lid may keep flies
Of course.
from landing on it,
And cats from licking it. Yeah, our cats will. You see them sniffing around there every now and then. Like, all right. I mean, look, if that's what gets me, then it's my time. After all the things I've done, how did he pass? There's some rotten butter got him. That's my time. The big man upstairs wanted me at his side and decided to call me home, and I can't even complain about it. I've never heard of anybody doing mayo on a grilled cheese, and the thought of it repulses me. I did one time see a hack on. They said the best burger you can make. You take ground beef and mayo, and you mold the ground beef with mayo, and I thought, ooh, now that sounds good.
Yeah,
that I
that.
could do.
Yeah, I mean, that's almost like a meatball or meatloaf
Right.
putting it together. You're just adding some egg
Yeah,
and a
some
little oil. That's
fat
what mayo.
and oil.
That
Yeah.
is mayo. You're just adding some fat. Fat carries flavors.
I'm gonna try. You know what? Instead of being a dismissive butt face, I'm gonna try a mayo grilled cheese. Now, do you spread it on the bread?
Yeah, just like it's
Just
butter.
like I would do
Yeah.
with butter. Okay.
I had not a grilled cheese, but within the last year, had never had this before, at least to my knowledge. Pancakes
Uh-huh.
made with cottage cheese in the mix, in the batter.
Now that's a cottage cheese is an interesting.
Because I don't like cottage cheese.
So I
I
those
love cottage
pancakes
cheese.
were delicious.
So I feel like it's the snack of an elderly man.
That's why I love cottage cheese. You know I love elderly snacks.
But my wife, yes, butterscotch,
Yeah.
yes,
cottage cheese.
hard candies of all sorts,
Can't wait until that day.
Tapioca.
tapioca.
Mm.
My wife will eat cottage cheese.
Applesauce.
And the thought of it repulses me so much. But I do. So this guy I was talking to, who's like a dietitian trainer, he goes, my hack, he goes, I have a sweet tooth, Woodsy, like you do. He said, but I don't go suck down cheesecakes and brownies and everything like you do. He said, take some cottage cheese. I put some honey on it and a little bit of cinnamon toast crunch. And I went, oh. He goes, he goes, I get protein from the cottage cheese. The honey's fairly healthy, and it gives a little crunch. It's not terrible for you. And I go, I don't even know that I like cottage cheese. I said, but that sounds good, dude. Hannah says, of course I do. I was raised on a farm.
Yes, she was.
She was not.
Nancarrow Ranch.
They had plants and stuff and vegetables. It was not a farm. It was not a working farm, for the love of God. I can't do this again this
We had a lot
morning.
of pets.
Yeah, we had a lot of
colonial.
pets. Yeah, which one did you milk, Greg? So maybe I'll try the cottage cheese. Maybe I'll try the mayo grilled cheese. But I got to, when the season ends, then I can get more. I can just go to bed. I don't have to stay up. I won't be snacking. I can't help myself from. I need like one of those locks on that my wife sets, like the lock on the counter or the cabinet in the fridge. I don't know the code.
Password protected
Bro, I'd be
refrigerator.
stashing little Debbie's under my bed and stuff. Like, it's so bad.
Well, you always access the butter since it's not in the fridge. So there you go.
Don't think I wouldn't with a spoonful of sugar or something. Yes, it just this team makes me snack, and that's really the worst thing I can say.
How did you gain all the weight?
The San Diego Padres. They make me snack, and that's the worst thing I can say about them this year. They make me snack too much.
All right, I wanna start talking about the game. I want to set the menu. So let's get going.
Yeah.
When we come back, though, before we address any of that, I'm going to speak directly to one person.
Oh,
My mother.
oh,
Mom, you might want to turn off the radio so Dad can't hear the next segment. It's not bad, but it might make him a little uncomfortable.
what did he do?
You may just want to skip just the next couple of minutes.
What did he do?
You had my curiosity.
Yeah.
Now you've got my attention.
Yeah, 100%.
And then we
It's
will be
peaked.
off and running. All the Padres highlights are coming up. Do not go anywhere. Ben and Woods with you on a Thursday morning. Throwback Thursday. Let's get some current traffic from Kelly Danick here on 97.3 The Fan.
you get confirmation? Your dad is not listening?
He's not.
All right.
So I opened Twitter last night. I was shocked by what I saw on the first tweet, like right at the top of my feed. Welcome back. Ben and Woods with you. So I played golf with my dad yesterday. Had a nice round. Didn't play that well, but it's always fun to play with him.
I love playing with my dad.
He is. My dad is the best.
He is the best golfer. I mean,
he's not. He's fast at golf. He's fast at everything. Likes to eat fast.
Me too.
Restaurants. I mean, in and out. Less than an hour.
I'd be a great son to him.
Yeah.
He would really enjoy me as his child.
Eating early. You guys really would hit it off.
Early, 15-minute dinners.
Yeah.
Even a nice place. 15, 20-minute dinners.
Golf, 3-hour round would be
round.
Fantastic. Just motor around quickly, be done.
6 to 8 foot putts. Good. You're good. Yeah, you're good too. Let's go.
Really one of my dad's only flaws, and it's not a flaw, but not a social media savant. And
consider yourself lucky.
He he's been on Twitter for 10 years. And I know he signed up pretty much just to follow probably my tweets.
Sure.
And see what's going on.
Why a lot of people sign up.
I mean, it's great.
Yeah.
And it's just supportive of him because that's the kind of guy he is. But you might remember, because we talked about this last year, he doesn't send many tweets, so I'm always shocked when I see one. And
it's jarring when it pops up in your feed.
And last night it popped up in my feed. His name is right up there, Steve Higgins, and he's got, the computer-generated Twitter handle of Steve H, and then a series of numbers that,
like my dad,
like 7 or 8, characters long. So, whoa, what's this? And I see the tweet. It says, "Cool in." That's it. Cool in. Like cool in the gang? I mean, it's not cool. It's cool in.
I-N.
Cool I-N.
Cool space.
He's cool space I-N.
He's cooling.
He's cooling down.
Or
they're turning the air conditioning on because it's getting hot.
His buddy.
Cool in.
His buddy texted him. He thought he texted him back, and he said, "Steve, do you want to go hit
I
balls at the ranch?" Cool. In.
That could be it.
Does your dad say cool ever? Have you ever heard him say cool?
I've never once heard him say cool.
Or like, that's cool?
No, I don't think so.
He doesn't seem like a guy that would use a lot of slang.
The reason why it's so notable, and we discussed this, I remember last
profile.
February.
I gotta look at it.
He has sent
on August 11th.
He has sent 6 tweets. I'm just going to go through his entire.
In a decade?
Yeah, I'm going to go through the entire Twitter
yes.
history of Steve Higgins here, because it is just 6 tweets long. In 10 years, he joined Twitter in August of 2015, and in that time, he has sent 6 tweets. Number 1, October 2nd, 2020. So 5 years before he sent the first one.
Wow.
Kind of like I'm, but without the apostrophe.
Sungjae
M, like the golfer.
Yeah,
M.
Big fan.
Then about a half a year later, February 28th, 2021. Po.
P-O-E?
Yeah, there's like the river in, I think, Italy, the Po River.
Po. P-O.
Po. Or P.O. Box, maybe. He was thinking about mail or something. And then, an entire year later, 1 year later, February 28th, 2023, actually 2 years later, to the day, the third tweet.
This is amazing.
A picture of Leonard Fournette, running back for the Tampa Bay Bucks. No comment, just stand alone. Tweet, a picture of Leonard Fournette. Not a Bucks fan, as far as I know. Not a Leonard Fournette fan, just a picture of Leonard Fournette.
Oh, my God.
Number 7, carrying the ball in his left hand. Looks like a home game. And then I hadn't seen any tweets, but apparently there's been 3 since Leonard Fournette. October 22nd, 2023. Last fall. Hashtag. Not hashtag but
Hashtag.
Hashtag.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 M's.
M's and then an ampersand. Yeah.
Okay.
The hashtag. And now the prolific month that he's had. August 11th, last month. I missed this one. Hi.
Is he hacked? Has he been hacked?
I don't know. That's what I always worry.
It's the most normal one so far.
Yeah, that is hi.
Hi.
And then, of course, last night, 10 hours ago.
Cool.
In.
Cool. In.
No comma, but cool. In.
Is it some sort of secret code?
I don't know. I'm trying to put them together.
Is he trying to send you signals?
Hi. Cool in.
He's sending you location to where some money is buried or something.
I
There's
mean, you can
something there.
explain 5 of them based on I've accidentally opened the app and jammed my fingers on the keyboard and hit send. And in 10 years, that's probably going to happen a couple of times.
The funny thing is like
the one that you can't explain, though, again, is the picture of Leonard Fournette.
It's my favorite by far. Just random picture of Leonard Fournette. He's never mentioned Leonard Fournette.
Never once.
They didn't attend the same college. Nothing. Like, there's no connection to Leonard Fournette.
He also retweeted this one. This was his first actual tweet was a retweet. I thought this was about Conan Gray, but it's not, so I lost interest, and it's a picture of somebody.
It's some preteen boy band guy in there.
He
retweeted that.
That's it.
He is something else, man. He is something else. I love that. I love Steve Higgins' tweets. Chief tweets, because they call him Chief. So this should be a regular occurrence. Next time you're with him, grab his phone, just go to his app and be like, hey, I'm going to take this off, Dad, just in case something happens and you don't want it to happen, because clearly you're not paying much attention to it. He knows your pithy dialogue. He doesn't need to see your tweets. He doesn't need to see any of it. So he listens.
You don't even really need to sign up for Twitter to see tweets.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Can't get enough.
So there's your update on Chief Higgins from yesterday. Here's your menu for the show today. Coming up, our Padres wrap up. I've heard the walk-off from Jesse and Don, of course, but I haven't heard the Jackson Merrill home run. I have a lot of calls that I need to catch up on. Looking forward to getting those in our Padres wrap up, and we'll talk about last night's Grit Squad strikes again, come from behind 6-5 win over the Detroit Tigers. Talk about Yu Darvish's return to the mound. Didn't go as probably well as he hoped, but I don't think there's reason to necessarily panic about what we saw from you. It was a up and down first outing since May for Yu Darvish yesterday. We'll discuss it in our Padres wrap-up. 7 o'clock hour, Take on Woods, your chance to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Actually, it's Thursday, so real or fake today. Don't even need any musical knowledge to qualify. Don't do this at 7:20. More Padres talk as we get to the 8 o'clock hour. And then at 8:35, we'll be joined by our friend Eno Saris as we now just over 3 weeks left in the season. The pennant race is heating up. Our Smart Weekly Baseball segment, pretty much everyone agrees. Even like in baseball, Eno's one of the smartest guys in the sport, and we always just lucky enough to get to talk to him every Thursday. So he'll join us at 8:35, and then it is the return of our football threesome in our 9 o'clock hour. Today is the first day of the NFL season. Are you ready for some football? We will bring back our football threesome as we get ready for the start of the season tonight between the Baltimore Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Game, dude. Come
Good
on.
one to start. Absolutely.
Wow.
Rival report, and then we will get into the roundtable at 10 o'clock when we'll be joined by all of our colleagues over in the sound space and go commercial-free Padres talk from 10 to 11.
Did I miss it? Did you mention our 9 o'clock guest?
Oh, I forgot about our 9 o'clock guest.
Our 9 o'clock guest is the one I'm so excited for, but I talk to him every week. But our 9 a.m. guest is one I'm very excited about. I'll admit it. I have a small but growing man crush on our 9 o'clock guest, Trevor Plouffe, who does a lot of stuff with Chris Rose. And I love his takes, man. He's a measured guy. He's a former big leaguer. And I'm just a huge, huge fan of his work and very excited to talk to him at 9.
Measured is a perfect way to describe him.
And he's here this weekend.
He's here.
Yeah, he's in town.
See if he'll come on the round table. I just love the dude. I think his takes are phenomenal. And
hey, Trevor, are you free at 10 o'clock?
I can't wait to talk to him. I'm going to be a little bit giddy.
We'll find out a little bit more about what is bringing him to town. It's not just the Padres game, but they've got an event going on this weekend that you can probably get involved with or take part in. That's why he's coming on to promote it. But he'll talk some Padres baseball with us and just some other observations. As you said, Trevor, really smart takes on baseball. Got that recent player perspective that I think is very important.
I do too. Guzzinator says, make sure you call him out for calling the under on wins when he was on John Boy. Guys, we all called the under on wins, man. Every single one of us called the under or barely over.
If we wanted to be optimistic, it was the barely over or, under.
Yeah.
But
excited.
Looking forward to it. So let's get to it. Padres wrap up. We will talk about last night's dramatic happenings at Petco Park when we come back on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Padres came back to win, but there was a rare moment. I actually disagreed with a strategic decision from Mike Schilt. I'm sure he'll love me bringing that up in the game last night. Now,
you thought I made a mistake?
You agreed with him, so we can discuss that.
That made sense to me.
The rest of the game coming up, our Padres wrap-up. Can't wait for it. All the highlights right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by California Department of Transportation. Got a few things going on here, guys. Northbound side of the 5 for the 163. Accident involving several vehicles. It's all over the right shoulder. Accident has cleared on northbound 805 past Market Street. Just watch out for a little residual there. Northbound 15, stall vehicle on the Claremont Mesa Boulevard off-ramp. It's over to the right shoulder. Cordell and Cordell traffic cam shows a collision in the clearing stage on westbound 78 at the southbound 15 connector, and collision on southbound 15 on the Miramar Road off-ramp. Eastbound Interstate 8 will close from Jackson Drive to Route 67 from 9 p.m. Friday, September 13th to 5 a.m. Monday, September 16th. Follow the detour signs on Route 125 if you're in the area. Then give yourself more time to reach your destination. I'm Kelly Danick, Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing.
Oh, my God, I'm so stiff.
Miss any of the Padres win yesterday? Ben and Woods didn't.
What up, crew?
We've got you covered with all of the highlights.
I like it when the Padres win.
Yeah! It's the Padres Wrap-Up, presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else.
Yeah! Give me a do damage.
Do damage!
No balls, 2 strikes to count. Darvish will kick, hesitate, and deal. And Bierling hits it in the air to left field, well struck. Throw far back at the wall, leaping up, gonna go into about the second or third row over the U.S. Bank sign in straightaway left field. Bierling gets his 16th home run of the season. And the Tigers going to take a 1-0 lead here in the top of the first. That's the kind of swing we've come to expect from young guys against Yu Darvish. Keith swings at the first pitch, lines it to right field. Fernando over towards the line to get it. Has it on the edge of the warning track. Fires into second base. That will hold Keith to a single, but it's an RBI single as Bierling comes in to score. Runner on first, nobody out, 3-0 Tigers. And this one hit a mile in the air down the right field line. Fernando back to watch, and it will go. Moonshot to right for Trey Sweeney. A 2-run homer against Matsui here in the 4th inning. And the Tigers have added on 5-0 Detroit. Left-hand hitter, of course. First pitch, swung on, hit in the air to left field and deep. Green's racing back, still going back, at the wall, gonna go! 3-run homer, Jackson Merrill! Merrill has just become the first Padre rookie ever to drive in 80 runs in a season, and more importantly, has put them right back in this game. It's 5-3. Pitch on the way. Manny swings, hits a ground ball through the left side base hit. Arise has scored. Fernando's on his way. They've got no shot. 2-run single Manny Machado, and the Padres have erased another 5-run deficit. 5-5 here in the 5th. The pitch from Foley, swung on, hit through the left side, and a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Green's throws got no shot, and Fernando is back. Tatis wins it for the Padres. They mob him on the left side of the infield. A walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Padres beat the Tigers 6-5. They will take their brooms out here tomorrow night.
It's through the roof. I can't put it into words. I just love this group of guys, and we're gonna keep coming.
What a big moment. I don't think anybody had any real doubt he was going to come through. Felt pretty right. Yeah, good for him, good for us. He looks great. Really good at bats tonight. He smoked that ball to right center. Another nice base hit, but he just stayed within himself, nice and short, and brought it home for us.
Love that quote. I love it. I love stay within yourself. And it makes no sense, but it totally does. Stay within yourself. Don't try to do too much, Campusano. Just stay within yourself. And he absolutely did. And what a win. Somebody tweeted last night, all of Petco Park is pregnant
I was just
right
gonna ask,
now.
how many children are going to be born in March?
My wife was asleep, damn it. Because I feel like my chances would have gone through the roof.
So are we
I
talking
tried.
about the
my
fact
wife,
that
my wife was awake. She asked.
You tried.
She goes, "Is he going to do the interview with Bob shirtless?"
Shirtless?
I'm like, "Well, it sure looks like it." And then he did.
And anyway.
and then he
And
got
she
dumped
goes-
with Gatorade
She goes,
shirtless.
"Hey, can you leave?" And I go,
Yeah, just leave for a moment. He's a dynamo. What a win. What a win. Oh, he didn't kiss the roach. Here you go.
It is funny how often attractive people who are well built, their shirt just randomly comes off.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
Yeah, I know.
It does. You don't see a lot of baseball players. Their shirts don't end up coming off
No.
at the end of the game.
No.
But somehow his did.
No, Ryan Vogelbach doesn't rip his jersey off and throw it into the stands. It'd be badass if he did, but he didn't. He doesn't.
Pete Alonso took his shirt off once.
And it's still making the round. I saw it last night. You versus the guy she told you not to worry about. Our buddy Big Miz tweeted that last night. I almost died.
Was I the only one during the walk-off celebration that was just staring, going, don't hurt him, don't hurt him, don't injure him.
Yeah.
Don't injure him. Be
Yes.
careful with him. He's
"Don't
just
hit him
back.
with the Gatorade jug."
Don't pick him up too much. Jackson picks him up in the air. I'm going, guy's still got, recovering from a stress reaction in his leg. Be
Ooh.
careful with that guy.
See how his pecs shook, but it wasn't fat? Like it was his muscles? You know?
Yes, I saw that.
I saw it. Whew, man, that is
Have you ever heard the word live?
live. Oh, it's one of my favorite
good word,
words
and
in the English language.
It describes him quite well.
He's all sinewy.
Sinewy is
and-
another good word.
And live.
Live
That's
and
what he is.
sinewy.
Man, what a win.
Ben and Woods After Dark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Even
It
though
was,
it's
very sensual.
light out.
It was an experience.
It was an experience, man.
It
Last
was an
night.
experience for sure.
Yeah, look, there's certainly a lot to unpack. Let's start with you, Darvish,
Okay.
and obviously a nice emotional lift. Great to see you back, and they did make the point during the broadcast. I mean, look, he was rusty, obviously, and the command was not there at all. Again, when you're trying to land 11 pitches, it can probably get a little bit difficult if your mechanics are out of whack. And Don made the really astute point that I think we need to hammer home. When you're on the restricted list, you are restricted. That's what restricted means. He can't call Ruben and say, hey, can you come out to Helix High this morning before you head into the ballpark and let's get a sesh in, before you got to go to the ballpark. I want to get a throwing session in. Let's make sure my mechanics are where they need to be. They had a few days, certainly had a week to get it together and try to figure it out. But once he got out on the mound, Benny, the command wasn't there. The velo, I thought, was pretty good, 94, 95. He landed some really nice sliders. But, yeah, man, he also hung a couple sliders. And, they're big leaguers, too. Shaking off the rust. I did like the early hook for you. He was on a pitch count. He had 65 pitches or something. So I thought it made sense. You would have loved to see him get a clean couple of innings there, but definitely something to build off of with you, Darvish.
I actually take that start as almost entirely a positive in that return. Would it have been great if he had gone 5 innings and, given up no runs? Sure. Yeah. But I was more looking for the stuff and whether he's still got it. And you, Darvish, in just 2 2/3 innings, got 11 swing and misses.
That's big, man. The whiffs.
That's more than twice
huge.
as many as anybody else in the game, including the Tiger starter, who was in the game twice as long as he was. 11 swings and misses in just 2 2/3 innings is a sign that his stuff is there. It's playing well. The velocity was as good as it was before. The command will come back.
Yeah.
Yoon Darvish is known for his command. That, of course, was going to be the rustiest part of his game. And the way they got him back pretty quickly, I mean, he just was on the 12 days ago, came off the restricted list. They pushed him because they needed him. This is not a surprise to the Padres. Should not be a surprise to fans that there were some command issues. They got through it. They came back and got the win, so you doesn't even have to feel bad about letting his team down. They got the win in that game, and they have something to build on the next time he now goes out on the mound. He can refine things. I promise you, he will be better next time than he was this time, and he wasn't that bad actually this time.
Well, and building towards when the games are the most important, right? You'll take this start against the Tigers right now with the lead that you have in the wild card. I know that there are teams, nipping at your heels, certainly, and that's obviously we're all looking behind us every single night. I totally understand that perspective, but you saw how Joe responded when he came back. Get these guys firing at the right time, and this is going to be a dangerous team. We already know they're a dangerous team. There's no lead that feels out of reach for them, and especially when you have who should be the runaway rookie of the year, Jackson Merrill, who impacts the game every single game he plays in. He does it with his glove, he does it with his legs, and he does it with his bat. And if one of those falters, he makes up for it with the other two. If he goes 0 for 4, I promise you he made a great catch. He stole a bag on a walk or something. Like, he always impacts the game. He's the runaway rookie of the year. Anything else is garbage.
A crime.
It's a crime. And so I think when he had that swing and put us back in the game, I mean, what do you say? It's just such a lift for this team. The only thing I think about the Padres, Benny, are they becoming your favorite NBA team where you're like, I've got stuff to do. I'll just tune in the 5th or 6th. You know what I mean? Like, catch me in the second half. I don't miss an inning, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if you miss the first 5 innings of a Padre game because your kids can't go to bed, you're good, man. They really do their best work after the inning switches from 6 to 7. It's crazy.
I want to talk about Jackson Merrill's home run, like, in particular, because
big boy home run.
That's what I thought. That was a grown-up home run. And you're going, well, he's hit a lot of big ones. He's hit 420-foot shots to center. Most of his home runs, though, have been those pull down the line type. I mean, they count just the same, but it's fine. He had the one early in the season that was opposite field that stunned me. I'm going, okay, that's hard to do at Petco
I remember
Park.
you talking about
Go
that.
the other way.
Okay.
You see,
that's
Jake,
real.
Jake drives the ball the other way, never gets out.
It
never gets out. And I thought, well, the fact that he can do that is impressive. Then he hit those ones to center. I go, okay, he's hit a few to center now that are big. That one, though, was to left center. That was an opposite field home run to one of the deeper parts of the park, and it was a no-doubter. And those are the kind of home runs that you see from power hitters.
Yeah.
That was a power hitter home run. That wasn't a contact hitter home run. Jackson's both now, which is stunning. That's a complete player. That's Barry Bonds. That's what he would do. That's what Shohei Ohtani does.
That's what he does all the time.
All the time. And he should not be doing things that Barry Bonds and Shohei Ohtani did when he's 21 years old and a rookie in Major League Baseball. That was incredible, that home run that he hit. Not just the circumstances getting them back into the game, but physically to go that far to that part of the park. And yes, it was the pitch was up. It was a good pitch to hit, and he went where he needed to go. But that's notable what he just did last night with that swing.
Yeah, he's a notable player, and he 100% is the rookie of the year. It just every single game, man, he's showing up, and again in the biggest moments, when you need him the most to get you back in a game, to win a game. You can't say enough good things about him. I mean, you're out of superlatives totally for Jackson Merrill. He's an absolute baseball player, man.
Hi, this is Jackson Merrill.
Hi, Jackson. And I just think. I see a lot of discourse about where he hits in the lineup, and I see it every single night. And I defer to Tony Gwynn Jr., who knows more about baseball than any of us will ever know. He's forgotten more than we know. And he said Jackson Merrill is Jackson Merrill right now because he hits where he hits. And it makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. Could you move him up to 5? Yeah. Would he be okay? Maybe. But do you know? And also, he always seems to come up at the right time for this team. You don't feel like if you want to stack your best hitters, and I see that theory as well. Well, then run through it, and you stack your best hitters, and then that turns into the Padres of old, the 7, 8, 9, where you're like, sure hope something happens. Merrill in the 7 makes your lineup deadly, almost all the way through.
I don't 100% agree with that, and I know I disagree with Tony Gwynn Jr. at your own risk. I understand the value of consistency and not moving a bunch of people around in the order, especially when the team's playing so well. But once they decide to move him, it'll be very logical, and
course.
You'll feel like next year he ain't hitting 7
No,
next year.
and I agree. Like, but
they're going to move him up in the order because he deserves to get up more often in the games.
Correct.
You want to get his bat into the lineup more.
I totally understand
and
that.
if they did it now, I don't think there'd be some big outcry. What are you doing?
No,
moving Jackson Merrill up in the order. No one around baseball would be surprised if they did. And I understand why they're not. But
would it surprise you that if they decided to make that move a couple weeks before the season ended? I mean, would it surprise anybody? No. Has he earned it? Yes, he has. But I don't think that right now there's really any reason to do it. Again, if you're a pitcher and you're like, if I can just get through the top of this order, right, then I can take my foot off the gas a little bit with the bottom third or fourth or whatever it is. Not when that guy's hitting in the 7 hole. You can't take your foot off the gas, really, because you can get burned. You're focused on Jackson Merrill in the 7th. You may leave a pitch up to Bogey in the 6. You may leave a pitch up to Jake in the 5. It just works right now.
There's no doubt that the Padres lineup is as lengthy as it's been all season long, and they still have one more player to get back in Ha-Seong Kim, who continues to progress, was taking grounders, working out of Petco Park yesterday. Just a couple more notes on Jackson Merrill. Jesse mentioned it in his call, but that 3-run home run, RBIs 80, 81, and 82, passes Benito Santiago for the Padres rookie RBI record, that record that has stood for 40 years now. And he is approaching the Padres rookie home run record, his 22nd of the season. Got 3 players in front of him. Jed Jerko, Nate Colbert at 24.
Of course.
And then the record, which belongs to Hunter Renfroe with 26 home runs. So 4 more to tie, 5 more to pass Hunter Renfroe to own both the rookie home run and RBI records.
I mean,
speaking of stats, though, and weird stats, like I would have lost so much money if you had asked me before yesterday, does Fernando Tatis Jr. have a walk-off hit?
Correct.
I would have lost everything.
Yeah. Well, of course he does.
Yes. Were you new here?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
of course he's got a walk-off.
Does. No, first one.
But now we have a walk-off from Tatis, and we have all the calls of the walk-off from Tatis, and we're going to play those when we come back. And then later in the hour, I still want to get to the decision that I disagreed with on Mike's show. We haven't gotten to that part of the game yet just because we had so much to talk about, but we will. That, Real or Fake, also coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 5 different walk-off calls for you of Fernando Tatis Jr. Yes, really. It was his first ever walk-off hit.
What's the list this year? Who are we missing? That we've had, what, it was 8, I think, before for Fernando, right? Wasn't there 8 different walk-offs this year?
Sounds about right.
Something
Wow.
like that.
Can anyone even do it on, like, in their top of their head? Jackson, obviously.
Jackson,
Higgy.
Manny, Higgy.
Jake had one.
Jake, Arise.
Yeah.
Arise, I was at that game.
Toddy.
Toddy,
the Dodgers.
6. Who am I missing?
Did anyone double up?
Jackson have more than one?
Jackson he's had more than one. Profar had a walk-off.
Oh, yeah.
7.
Yeah.
Kim? Did Kim have one?
Jackson
this year?
has 2. Solano?
I think if Jackson had 2, then I think we got to 8.
Maybe that's 7 or 8. Solano's, they're saying Solano.
Solano.
Did he have a walk-off?
All right. I mean, what a season.
All right, we need to get Xander going. Get him one. He needs his moment. He needs a big moment.
Yeah.
He does.
If you're a baseball broadcaster, this is what you live for. A chance to
100.
call a walk-off hit at the end of the game. Again, setting the stage. The Padres got through the top of the 10th with Jeremiah Estrada stranding the runner at third base. And then they had a chance with Jackson Merrill out at second base.
Solano had one against L.A.
Yeah.
Yep. And Arise, too.
Jackson Merrill out at second base. As the bottom of the order coming up, Elias Diaz got his very far. I thought for a second, is Elias Diaz going to make his very first plate appearance with the San Diego Padres a walk-off?
Would have been amazing.
Didn't. He grounded out, didn't move the runner. And then the second at-bat was... Who batted second? They moved the run. Did the runner get to third? It was
what
McCoy.
part? Yes.
Struck out.
He struck out, and then they walked Arise intentionally to get to Fernando
Talk about
Tatis
that
Jr.
for a second.
Okay.
We talked about it before the show.
Yeah.
What does that tell you about Luis Arise's value, that they will walk him and take their chances with Fernando Tatis Jr.?
Yeah.
He'll be returning from a long absence.
One game in.
It's still Fernando Tatis Jr. They thought Arise is so good at hitting.
It's a calculated risk. It's righty-lefty. And you know,
It's not even a risk. It's probably the right call for a number of reasons.
Yes.
And first of all, it's the righty-lefty.
Yeah.
Second of all, Luis Arise hits for a higher average. You're not worried about a home run.
Right. No.
Home run is no worse than a single
Correct.
at that point. And here's one other point that I made when I was watching the game with my son. Luis Arise hits a lot of soft singles. At that point, a hard single actually might be less effective. Like if Tatis hits 112, like one hopper to the left fielder, Jackson might not be able to score on that, and he might get thrown out.
He's definitely going.
Arise is actually the more dangerous hitter to the Tigers in that situation with a runner at second base and 2 outs.
Yeah, it's incredible.
It was the right call by A.J. Hinch to walk him, but it's a credit to the Padres lineup that you don't worry. You've got amazing players coming up after him. But he did set up Fernando Tatis Jr. It almost seemed inevitable at that point. If you're a Padres fan, you're at Petco Park. The crowd was great. Another sellout, into it all game long, ready for the roof to blow off. Well, there's no roof, but ready for the top to blow in this game. And we've got all the calls for you. So let's start again with Jesse Agler right here on your Padres radio network, 97.3 The Fan.
The pitch from Foley, swung on, hit through the left side, and a base hit. Merrill rounding third on his way. Greens throws, got no shot, and Fernando is back. Tatis wins it for the Padres. They mob him on the left side of the infield. A walk-off single in the bottom of the 10th inning, and the Padres beat the Tigers 6-5. They will take their brooms out here tomorrow night.
Is that a prediction or just a fact that you bring your broom?
You bring your
with
broom.
a chance to take them out.
Yeah, bring your broom.
But sound like Jesse already knows what's going to happen tonight. He's just seen the future, and they're going to break their brooms out.
Okay.
I like the Fernando is back addition to the call.
I do too.
That was nice.
I will hopefully be there. I'll be there, but I hopefully just
you will
see
not
a sweep.
be there.
I'll be there.
You won't be there.
You won't be there to see the sweep.
Tonight.
I just got the text from my wife that says, "Hey, let's have fun tonight, and let's not worry about being home early. All right, we're going with some other families, and we're in the Odyssey suite, and so we want to milk it a little bit."
If you can send me proof of
I'm
life,
willing to bet
if
money
you
you're not
if you
there in
send
the
me a
ninth inning.
selfie from the end of the game, like you and them like shaking hands behind you on the field, I will give you $10 tomorrow
I'm in
morning.
for 10 as well.
All right.
You don't have to give me anything. I'm so confident that won't happen.
Yeah, all right. I mean, we won't make any stipulations about score or anything. Because I'll tell you this. If somebody's up or down early, I'm going home. I'll tell you that right now. There's no question about it. But if it's a tight game, I've stayed for one full game this year.
You did?
Yeah. It was a day game, and we stayed the whole time. We had a blast.
Was there a show the next morning?
Nope. It was a weekend.
It was a weekend day game.
Yeah.
This is a night game, and you've got a show the next morning.
Yeah.
I will be stunned if you're there at the end of the game. All right, let's move on to another legendary call on Padres.tv. Don and Mud.
On the ground into left field, base hit. Fernando's back, and he's back big. Padres walk it off. Nando gets it done.
He's elite.
That SOB got me so good earlier in the game, though. I think it was the 8th inning, maybe.
Oh, the Profar swing.
Shot down the line. Don got me so good.
I was making lunches in an ambient haze,
God.
and I was like, no.
Don has.
I hate that angle, by the way. I hate that angle that they show. You know,
it's impossible.
And
to
I'm
tell.
like, oh, that's definitely gone. No, that's foul. I'm like,
Don
God.
has, I mean, you said elite, but what Don has that even most broadcasters don't have, and I'm a astute observer of this, Don has the unique ability to really ramp up the volume without screaming. He's yelling, he's very loud, but he doesn't lose his good pipes and his composure when he goes up. It's such a great listen when he calls a walk-off. There's no shrillness to it.
Merrill Madness!
It's great. It is a gift, and he is blessed with it, and he uses it to full effect on these walk-offs.
On the ground into left field, base hit. Fernando's back, and he's back big. Padres walk it off. Nando gets it done.
I texted him a couple weeks ago, asked him what his regimen was, and he said Macallan 12. Which is a scotch.
Really?
And no, he goes actually green tea during games. So there you go. It would be
honey, lemon, anything, or just straight green tea?
Straight green tea. I think it is a romantic thing about Don pouring a nice Macallan 12 into a little tumbler and sitting up there just sipping scotch during a game. But no, green tea only for our beloved Don Orsillo.
Before we get to the other three calls, we need a contestant for real or fake. This is the time to dial us up if you want to play and chance to win. Trip to Las Vegas, 833-288-0973. About 2 or 3 minutes away, 833-288-0973. All right, let's flip it around. Go to the sad side and the Detroit Tigers broadcast of the walk-off.
The 1-0, swinging the ground ball, base it into left. That'll do it. Merrill scores. Padres walk off the Tigers. Machado delivered the tying runs in the 5th, and he delivers the win in the 10th. Crushing loss for the Tigers after taking a 5-0 lead early. Our final score in San Diego Padres 6 and the Detroit Tigers 5.
What game you watching?
Manny Machado's walk-off single last night.
Then he's like, all right.
It was Fernando. Don't worry, nobody's listening.
Yeah, don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
Manny wasn't even up.
No, he wasn't.
I was like, correct me if I'm wrong. Machado had no impact in the bottom of the 10th last night.
Tied the game, in the 5th, and that was great.
Yeah, they say the Padres once a year. That's whatever.
That was
a bad call.
That's a devastating loss for the Tigers.
It was. They were back in it. Remember, we talked yesterday how they're 4.5 out. They're back in it. Now they're 5.5 out.
Such a
5-0
sweet picture yesterday. Yeah. If you're the Tigers, you're waking up. You're thinking,
you're excited.
Hey, we got our whole season ahead of us.
You go out.
Starts tonight.
You get to Darvish early. You get to the early part of the Padres bullpen, and then Jackson Merrill arrives, and just incredible.
Rip their heart out.
Yeah, rip their heart out.
Absolutely. All right, then on to the foreign language calls. We will start with Eduardo Ortega, the always somewhat overmodulated.
Turn your
radio
speakers down just a little bit.
Spanish language call.
I'm going to give you 3, 2, 1. Turn them down. Here we go.
Va a lanzar Foley. Tatis en el hoyo. Puede ser el final. Dejín la bola. Vuela menos. El tiro. Tarde hacia home. Safe home. Safe home. Se acabó el juego. El niño, el artista del béisbol, en su segundo juego de reaparición en el line-up de los Padres, se convierte en el héroe de la noche. En la 10ª entrada, la 9ª victoria walk-off de los Padres.
I don't think anyone's ever gotten more words in that amount of time than Eddie did. That was a lot of talking.
Who is the Dave Marcus for the Spanish broadcasts? We need to get them a little more dialed
David
in.
Marcus.
I don't know.
I'd like to get them a little dialed in because it makes it's hard to play those calls sometimes when he gets so excited.
Like this on the mic. That's not even that bad. That
No,
is,
wasn't bad
it's I had to turn mine way down because it popped.
Tiro, tarde hacia home, safe home, se acabó el juego.
He needs a better mic.
Do we have some leftover equipment we might be able to donate to them? Is that the problem? I don't know.
He needs a better mic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because he is high energy.
Someone's in the radio business. Chris says needs a compressor and a limiter.
Yeah.
Stat.
ASAP.
Please.
All right, finally, our friends from Korea, wherever they are, wherever they're calling these games, whoever they are, we don't know their names.
Still don't know. I keep forgetting
nothing
to
about
ask
them.
Jesse.
But here is the Korean call of the walk-off.
타티스 타구입니다. 페르난도 타티스, 샌디에고 최고의 슈퍼스타가 돌아왔습니다.
Amazing. Somebody said maybe Eddie uses an old Xbox microphone.
Yeah.
It's just like it's just insane. And potato mic. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. God, it's hot. It's the hottest. It's the hottest.
It's so hot.
Mic of all
and that's
time.
not a good thing. Usually being hot is good.
Yeah.
That's not in radio. You don't want to be hot.
Yeah, 100%. No, I loved it, man. I loved it. I loved what Nando had to say after the game.
We have Sammy's interview. We can play that a little bit later.
He talks about how he took it personally. I took it personal. As soon as I saw 4 fingers up, gave me the push I needed, the energy that I needed.
You know who taught him that?
I just wanted to come through for the boys. And I tweeted,
that's the school of jerks and Profar right there.
Well, playing with a chip on your shoulder is always the right play. I think absolutely. I don't think you would want to hear is, oh no, it's okay. I mean, I get it. I get why they had to do that. I mean, you don't want to hear that. You want to hear, yeah, good call, idiot. Like, absolutely, I took it personally. I would. We all would.
Professor Profar's class was in session and they were paying attention.
Like, bro, this isn't. You're not walking Jackson Merrill to face Mason McCoy,
sure, man,
or Luis Campusano.
Right.
You're walking Luis Rice
to get to me.
We just talked about the move. It's probably the right choice.
It was also the right move when they walked him to face Jerson Profar.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. Yeah, it's absolutely the right move.
They can still take offense at it, though.
Just incredible.
All right, we ready for a game?
I'm ready.
Let's play it.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Oh, what a great prize. Let's go to, is this Ollie?
Yes.
Ollie, you are our contestant today on Real or Fake. This is our Thursday throwback game, one of our earliest games on Ben and Woods. We do this if you don't have a musical trivia knowledge for our Take on Woods, a chance to qualify for our grand prize drawing of a 2-night stay at the Wynn or Encore Las Vegas and 2 tickets to their new show, Awakening. Tickets are on sale now at awakening.com. So, Ollie, here's how the game works. I will give you the category. You need to get 4 out of 7 right, separating the real from the fake. Woods can help you out. You can absolutely phone a friend in this game. Ollie, are you ready to play?
Yes.
All right. Today's real or fake category. The American Professional Football Association was formed in 1920, renamed the National Football League in 1922. In honor of the start of a new NFL season tonight, I have a list of teams that comprised the NFL in 1922.
Ooh.
All you need to do is separate the real from the fake. Ollie, are you ready to play?
Let's roll.
All right, round number 1. The Milwaukee Longshoremen, real or fake?
I'm going to say fake.
I'm going to agree with you.
You're both going to say fake, and you are both right.
Yes.
So we're already better than last week.
Yes.
We went 0 for 7 in this game of real or fake. All right, 1 for 1. You are 3 away from a win. Round number 2. The Columbus Panhandles, real or fake?
Let's go with Woodsy on this one.
Oh, I'm trying to... Ohio, there's not a panhandle, so I'm going to say fake.
Ollie?
Fake.
I would agree with both of you, but they were in the NFL in 1922. The Columbus Panhandle. I don't think Ohio has a panhandle.
Not the panhandlers.
No, just the panhandle.
Sorry about that, Ollie. We'll get it. We'll get it.
That was a tough one. All right, round number 3.
Go Pans.
Yeah, go Pans.
The Evansville Crimson Giants. Real or fake, Ollie?
I'm going to go fake.
Yeah, fake.
Real. Evansville no longer in the NFL, but
No.
they were in 1922. All right, we've hit a little bit of a bump in the road. Still, you can come back. Round number 4. The Rochester Jeffersons. Real or fake? The Rochester Jeffersons.
No way, fake.
Fake.
For sure.
Real.
Oh, no.
I hate, man. I hate. He's so. Sorry. He wants the listeners to lose.
All right, we're on the brink again.
I like you, Ollie. Ben, not so much.
I don't. They're just. It's just facts. I can't change them.
There's a pattern that he uses, and I can't figure it out.
I try to keep it. I try not to have a pattern to make it as fair as possible. All right, Ollie, you need the last 3 now.
Damn it.
Let's try to break out of the streak here with the Racine Bearcats.
That's in Illinois.
Racine Bearcats. Real or fake,
real.
Ollie?
I think it's real.
Let's go with the Woodsy.
Real. It's real.
Paulie?
Real.
Oh, no.
No! Damn it. We
I'm
got one
sorry,
right
Ollie.
in 2 weeks. I'm so sorry.
The game
Ollie.
is over for you. Appreciate you calling in and playing. Not today, Satan. Not today.
Oh.
Jesus.
I'm Satan in this case.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're so mean. All right, give me the rest.
All right, Minneapolis Marines.
Fake.
The Dayton Triangles.
Fake.
We are on a very bad run.
This would be like if I went 0 for Take on Woods for 2 weeks. It'd be a nightmare. Like, all right, we got to bang this game.
It's a 50-50 chance. I mean, the odds of getting 1 out of 14 right in a 50-50 chance is really low.
Unbelievable. It's
Sorry.
very evil.
That's amazing.
I am sorry, everybody. I will try to make this game easier.
Let me
next
do it.
time.
You'll be out next Thursday.
I
I'll
know.
do it next week.
Paulie and I have a plan.
I got a plan.
We got a plan
Oh, you
already
do?
for next Thursday's
Look
game.
at you guys,
Yeah, we do.
devious. What now? Dave Roberts going to come in and do it?
No, you'll find out.
Okay.
You won't like it.
You won't like it, but Paulie has a great plan for next Thursday's
Okay.
game.
All right.
All right. We will come back. Don't Do This is coming up next.
If you work for the Los Angeles Dodgers in a broadcasting capacity, it is a prerequisite that you are insufferable. And I have some audio for you guys that's going to infuriate you.
Woodsy's hot take. Does not like the Dodgers broadcasters.
Oh, God. All platforms.
Coming up next after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. All right, don't do this. Always with a couple of stories that make you shake your head. About 2 years ago, we added do this to try to highlight something positive as well in this segment. So I'll start with this story out of the NFL. Washington Commanders always seem to have something going on. And
the Commanders?
Yeah,
and
the
don't
Commanders.
do this.
Commanders and
don't do this. Really one of the Hall of Fame organizations when it comes to don't do this.
Hall of Shame.
They have suspended their vice president of content after remarks surfaced on a hidden recording undercover video.
Yes. At a dinner.
So he criticized a lot of people, including the team's own players, Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, and NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. During this interview, made comments, and basically he disagrees with a lot of what he believes to be their social stances. He says the players are anti-gay. He says Jerry Jones is racist and anti-gay, and he called Roger Goodell a $50 million puppet during all of these interviews. He's allowed to have opinions like that. If that's what he truly thinks, there's nothing necessarily don't do this about thinking that.
Well,
but he is also an employee of the organization, and for those comments to surface publicly of him criticizing his own team's players, another owner in the NFL, and the commissioner of the NFL, obviously the NFL is not going to be too happy about any of this.
Listen, you forgot the biggest one. He goes after the fans of the Washington Commanders, and he said, quote, most of the fans are high school educated alcoholics, and called them mouth breathers. And he is the VP of content. You can't keep him. A guy that, like, imagine catching someone on hot mic or hidden camera talking about the Padres.
Is it
the
possible
fans.
what he said about the players and Jerry Jones is true?
Sure.
And Roger Goodell is
Absolutely.
true. Is he a $50 million puppet? Kind of, he is.
Yeah, I mean, he can have those. He can have those opinions, but
he didn't know that this was something that was being recorded or was going to get out.
He met this reporter on Hinge and then met with her twice at local restaurants, it says. And so they suspended him, doing an investigation. But man, it was probably him showing off on a date. But I think honestly, like if you're the Commanders, you've had so much scandal in your.
This was like a sting. Almost.
Yeah, it was like a sting. Yeah, it's exactly right. So mind your P's and Q's, people. The Dodgers rarely. Dodgers, their broadcasters rarely mind their P's and Q's. So big night the other night, a couple nights ago for Ben Joyce threw a pitch that was 105.5 miles an hour, the fastest recorded pitch in the StatCast era, I do believe. And listen to how the Dodgers broadcasters, really took that moment in and made it really special for Ben Joyce.
Well, they're making an announcement in the press box about the 105.5 mile an hour pitch that Ben Joyce threw. I don't know. I might have a bridge in Brooklyn for you. They're saying it's the fastest pitch in the StatCast era, fastest one for a strikeout, fastest pitch in Major League Baseball this year. Mickey Moniak. And no disrespect to Ben Joyce. He's a hard thrower.
But here's disrespect.
But no human being can throw it that fast. I'm sorry.
And he's just claiming he did.
1-0 pitch. Swing and a miss by Moniak.
Now we know, and you and I had conversations with a former general manager. And he said yes.
1-1 hit in the air to left field. Right in his tracks is Teoscar Hernandez. Makes the catch, 2 out.
And we were not asking about Ben Joyce or any other player with the Angels or with the Dodgers for that matter. What the conversation came to is that, hey, are there times if you have a pitcher that pitches and tries to chase velocity, did you ever kind of toy with the electronics? And the answer was yes.
So they go on, and they talked exclusively in that game as well about that game against the Angels against the Dodgers being the, quote, Angels World Series. And look how Ron Washington is managing this game like it's their World Series. They are such an unlikable group. Cancel the parades. That's why you play the game. You act like you win something important every year, and you don't. You don't. They act as if they are the Patriots of, on the run. They act as if they were the Yankees of the 50s and 60s. They're not.
I don't
not.
understand why they don't believe the radar gun.
Because it didn't happen to Michael Kopech or Shohei Ohtani. That's why they didn't believe it. That's why. If it was Michael Kopech,
there's no evidence that these radar gun readings are off at all. The technology has actually gotten pretty good, from what I understand.
So I guess last night's game, Mark Gubicza, the Angels broadcaster, guy threw a hard pitch and he goes, "Yep, Major League Baseball approved radar guns." Like he was giving it back to him. They act like trust fund kids, is what they do. They're like trust fund babies.
I did see our friend Tim Flannery, kind of complaining about he said radar guns back in the day, they tracked the pitch when it crossed the plate, not when it left
the hand.
And it slows down a little bit from the hand to the plate, so you're not getting. He said Nolan Ryan must have thrown at least 108.
Yeah, I wouldn't surprise me.
Which is possible. They did not have the great tracking technology back then, for sure. I don't know if he threw, but wouldn't it make sense that pitchers have been continuing to throw faster and faster?
Yes.
Better training techniques, more knowledge, more scientific analysis of spin rates and how they affect velocity. This is not some stunner. This is the logical conclusion of what everybody's doing, that someone's going to keep throwing harder and harder, including 105.5.
And somebody made the point in the chat, flip it. And if that's Ben Joyce doing that against the Padres, imagine the level of respect Mud and Don would give him. Like, holy smokes, we just saw history here. That's pretty cool.
I found out something I did not realize when I was listening to Gwen and Chris yesterday. So that was the fastest ever strikeout pitch, 105.5, but it's not the fastest ever pitch. The fastest ever pitch was an Aroldis Chapman 105.8 mile-an-hour fastball. Do you know who he threw it to? Tony Gwynn Jr. Wasn't a strike.
I think I'd heard that before, I forgot, but yes, that sounds right.
No one in history has ever stood in the plate at the box and gotten a faster pitch from a human being than our own Tony Gwynn Jr.
Wow.
Jeez.
How did he do it? It was a ball?
It was a ball. Took it.
Good take.
Good take.
Power take.
I don't know. I didn't see it.
What does that even? I mean, you don't see it.
No.
You hear it.
You heard it. It sounded fast.
Do this.
Do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
Nice moment last night before the game. If you happen to be at Petco Park, we're in your seats for the ceremonial first pitch. The Padres honored one of their own, Mark Marilla, who is now a scout, but used to be the bullpen catcher for the San Diego Padres, returned and threw out the first pitch, and there was a little bit of a, what do they call it?
Surprise.
A surprise, an Easter egg, unexpected. The person who caught his pitch, and they didn't even say who it was John Moores, who was the owner when Mark Marilla first entered the organization. He was actually a great college player at the University of Minnesota, but has battled brain cancer a couple of times in his career, nearly fatal. I mean, he had surgery, he had to recover twice, long-time recovery. Padres, though, have kept him in the organization, made him a scout. He's an instrumental part of A.J. Preller's staff, has been since 2012, and they honored Mark Marilla last night with a little surprise cameo from John Moores on the first pitch. I thought it was very cool. It's our do this moment. That's don't and do this for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we still have not gotten to the kind of innings that led up to the walk-off last night.
Had us a little, everybody on their edge of their seat a little bit.
Yeah, and I was even questioning Mike Schilt. I know that's a dangerous thing to do, but we can talk about what happened in the game last night coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. You know, in an alternate universe, that could have been a very frustrating loss for the Padres last night as well.
Yep.
And it was a little dicey in those last few innings. Talk about some of the decisions, the rallies that ended up not scoring any runs for the Padres in that game. As we wrap up what was really a fantastic 6-5 win last night over the Detroit Tigers. We'll do that right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Robert Half. Just one problem to mention here. Cordell and Cordell Traffic Cam shows a collision involving a car and a motorcycle on the transition ramp westbound 54 at the northbound 5 connector. Fire crew's got that right lane blocked, so just watch out for a little confusion there. West 54 at the northbound 5. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today.
And baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan, presented by T-Mobile. Switch to T-Mobile. You can get tons of benefits, still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. Use their savings calculator to find out how at T-Mobile.com/switch. So, Padres rally and tie the game. Manny Machado's 2-run single in the 5th inning.
Great AB, man.
It was.
God.
And then they were unable to push across another run even after Xander walked and moved Manny to second. Jackson Merrill grounded out. So it's 5-5 going to the 6th. Adrian Morejon gets through the 6th inning, works around a walk, so no real threat there by the Tigers. And then in the bottom of the 6th, Padres rally again. David Peralta, aggressive pinch hitting for Luis Campusano, who has kind of been struggling lately.
What?
Luis Campusano?
Kind of been struggling.
Yeah.
You're a nice guy.
That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah.
He had a 2-hit game last week, I think.
Okay.
So Peralta draws the walk. Mason McCoy then sacrifices him over to second base.
Thought of you, Steven Coronado. I thought of you immediately.
Runner in scoring position. Padres are in good shape at the top of their lineup coming up, especially Luis Arraez. And Luis Arraez does his job. Runner at second, singles to the left side. Does the runner score? No, he does not.
Did the runner advance?
Does the runner advance from second to third? No, he does not. David Peralta, who held because it was a line drive and he had to, then stumbled and
Sniper got him.
Had to go back to second base. So you had the very rare situation on a single to the outfield that the runner on base didn't advance. Well, might not mean anything. No, it did, because the very next hitter, Fernando Tatis Jr., roped a 110-mile-an-hour line out that would have scored any runner from third base, but not from second, and thus he was stranded out at second base. Well, third, actually. He advanced from second to third, but could not score after a Profar walk and another Manny Machado absolute line out. Very frustrating inning. Usually you get a runner out second with one out, and you go single, deep fly, you're going to score 100% of the time. I guess 99.99% of the time. When you have a runner at second and you go single, deep fly ball.
Yep.
Either they score on the single the first time, or they advance on the single and they score on the fly ball. Neither happened, and the Padres were left without a run in that inning. So that was frustrating.
It was a frustrating move. Now, the part to me, and I know you have another thing that you wanted to talk about, but I thought right there in that spot might have been a decent spot to see Tyler Wade pinch run. Because if you're going to sacrifice David Peralta over, right, in a tie game, that means this run's important to us. I'm going to give up an out here to get David Peralta to second base, which is in scoring position. So I'm going to give up an out with Mason McCoy. No problem. Had no problem with that. I thought if you're going to be aggressive there with the aggressive pinch hit, the bunt, why not be aggressive with Tyler Wade and put him on second base to try to score that run? Again, it was the right decision for Peralta to hold there because it was a line drive. You have to freeze on a line drive. You learn that in Little League. Freeze on a line drive. But the second you see it through, you got to at least get to third. I didn't think he was going to score on that anyway. Tyler Wade, I don't know. Maybe. You never know. But it didn't happen. So I went, okay, well, that's why you're there. But then
now, if you do that,
I reasoned with myself and said it's the sixth inning.
You are spending three players on that equation
to
because
get one run.
You've pinch hit Peralta for for Campusano. Then you would pinch run him, and then you'd have to replace him because you need a catcher in there. So
with Higgy or Diaz.
That's an expensive inning in still the 6th inning to burn 3 players right there. I can see why Mike Shildt was hesitant to do that in that spot.
Yeah. I thought, again, you're being aggressive. Fine. So scratch that. And then, Peralta could still come up later in the game, but actually he couldn't because you had to
replace
him defensively.
Because he was
so
pinch hitting for the catcher.
You burned him.
All right, so then you go to the 7th inning, and Tanner Scott gets through that inning, works around a single, but the Tigers don't really threaten again. And you go to the bottom of the 7th, and once again, the Padres threaten with 1 out. Xander Bogaerts walks, and then Jackson Merrill hits the ground rule double that probably would have scored Xander Bogaerts had it not bounced over the fence.
100%.
Always one of the most frustrating things whenever it happens to your team. You're saying, so just because the warning track is bouncier, he doesn't get to score? It never totally makes a lot of sense.
Is there a way to fix it? There's really not.
I don't know. But so then you've got runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. And Mike Shildt, again, goes to his bench. And this one surprised me because he had just, of course, put in Kyle Higashioka as a defensive replacement after the pinch hitting from the last inning. And he doesn't even let Higgy bat there. And he brings in Donovan Solano to pinch hit for Kyle Higashioka. Now, he can do that because he's got a 3rd catcher on the roster, expanded rosters. Elias Diaz is there. He's yet to make his Padres debut, but, well, apparently it's happening now because he's your last catcher, and you have aggressively pinch hit Donovan Solano. Now, I love Solano up in that situation. Guy gets the bat on the ball, got runners at 2nd and 3rd, hits it hard, infield's drawn in.
Infield's in.
There's a lot of reasons to bring up Donovan Solano, but there's also an open base at 1st, and Mason McCoy is on deck, a guy who they have handled all right, so far in this game, and is probably the least scary guy in the Padres lineup right now. He is the least scary guy in the Padres lineup at this moment. So what happens? Well, Donovan Solano works a walk, a good at bat, but ends up working the walk. So
now, see, he had pitches to hit there.
He did.
So they weren't pitching around him. I mean, actually, he had middle pitches to hit.
I'm surprised
there.
that they did give him opportunities.
I am too. But I was surprised. Higgy's come through a bunch this year. And I thought if you're going to use a pinch hitter, maybe for McCoy. But I started thinking about it, and I thought, all right, what does this do to the team defensively? Right, if you make this move, bringing the infield in, Solano's a 300 hitter, 300 hitter. He's now
and has been a fantastic pinch hitter, even better than that,
like the best.
Yeah,
he's now a 400 hitter with the infield drawn in. I can see the allure of let's just get it now. Yes, Higgy can hit a lazy fly ball to score a run, but I want to get both of these runs in with Donovan Solano. Well, him drawing a walk, you're like, oh, crap, that means Mason McCoy has to hit now.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work out because after the walk, Mason McCoy grounded into the fielder's choice to home plate, and Luis Arraez grounded out to shortstop. And once again, for the 2nd straight inning, you left your bases loaded. Mike Shildt did discuss the decision to go with Donovan Solano in that pinch-hitting role, and he said it wasn't an easy one.
Is this kind of an example of the way you can use the 3 catchers on the roster to kind of get at-bats for guys in optimal situations? And what went into the Solano at-bat?
Yeah, that was a tough one. I was sitting there talking to Victor, and, of course, Jackson, it's a, ground rule double. And, now we got a decision to make with 1 out. Got the open base, not sure what they're going to do. Mac's been having good at-bats. Trust Higgy, too. It's not a matter of that, but we got, a real bullet over there in Solano.
Yeah.
With 1 out, it's hard to, and again, we might have fired it with 2 if it had remained the same situation for Mac. But just took advantage of what we saw in front of us. Took a tough at bat, worked a walk. So really that was a tough one because we could have let Higgy hit and then, like I said, hit for Mac. So wasn't a clear-cut decision. But to your point about the catcher flexibility, and I applaud them all because, we're sitting there in the 6th, and we got Campy leading off. We got Peralta sitting there. We're really not going to do a whole lot with our first 7, unless there's extreme situation, which we will do if we've got the personnel still. But if you're looking at our roster, you look at David Peralta, who's been huge for us, and he's sitting there to lead off the 6th inning, and you got a good bullpen, and you're trying to figure out a way to get that one more run that me and Victor talk about. Then they get, and Peralta works the walk and, was able to have a good at bat. We can go to Higgy. And, again, we're sitting there with Solano trying to figure out the right spot to use him. But, you got Diaz that you can trust over there. Again, could have gone either way, but like Solano's at bat there with one out.
All right, so while I disagreed strategically with Mike Schultz's decision there, I think the answer there was very telling about some of the Padres' philosophies. He revealed, I'm going to basically the 8th and 9th spot in my lineups right now, which is usually the catcher and the shortstop. I am going to use my bullets, my David Peralta and my Donovan Solano, valuable pinch hitting guys. I'm going to probably use them in those spots.
Yeah.
I'm not going to let, in a close game, why not use those guys? And he used Peralta in the 6th. He used Solano in the 7th. It is also very character reinforcing who Mike Schilt is. He aggressively goes after wins. When he sees them in front of them, when he has the opportunity to reach out and try to take one, he will do it, whether it's with bullpen usage or with pinch hitters. And he saw Donovan Solano sitting on his bench. He saw runners at second and third. And to him, that is the way to go. Now, I'm a more conservative guy, I think, when it comes to the baseball strategy. And I was like, would have liked to save that Donovan Solano for the 9th or at bat for Mason McCoy. Or what if Higgy comes through and then you still have Solano on the bench? You've got all kinds of options. Good things can happen. And I know you trust Higgy. He's come through for you many times. I would have given him that opportunity to just go up and deliver a hit. Hits a lot of fly balls.
Frankly, I was actually surprised that he didn't give Higgy that opportunity. I really was, as much as Higgy's done for this team and how clutch he has been this season. But I also understand that. I understand in that situation right there, I got a chance. If they throw Donovan Solano, who's a good hitter, if they throw him a pitch to hit, this guy can rip an RBI single, a 2 RBI single with the best of them. So I kind of understand that. I like what he said. And also, wasn't it nice to hear Mike Schilt be like, yeah, tough call. Like, I got to make that call in real time. And that was a difficult one for me. And it's going to happen. It probably happens way more than we realize what a difficult call it is. But, again, they came back. They won that game. But, yeah, man, you leave 6 guys on in the late innings. You get a little bit nervous.
That would have been, as I said, a really painful game to lose, though. Even though you had been down 5-0, to have to come back, use all of your bullpen bullets, every single one of your high-leverage relievers, to have so many chances with the bases loaded, the Tigers really didn't have
you're sick.
Any chances. Their best chance came in the 10th when they put a runner at second base automatically. They never really had those chances. And if you had lost that game and then go, and now we've used all our bullpen guys, and now we're going into the final game of the series a little bit weakened, and we've lost, that would have been rough. But you win the game. You made the Tigers use some of their bullpen guys. That Will Vest was nasty.
Nasty, dude.
Hopefully he's down for today after throwing 2 innings yesterday, because I don't want to see. I don't want to see him.
Who the hell is Will Vest?
I don't know. I don't know how his ERA was over 3 either, because I look at that guy and I go, ooh, that guy is tough.
Filthy.
Hopefully we don't see him again. That was impressive in the 8th and the 9th. But obviously they had to bring in a different pitcher in the 10th, Foley. And the Padres were able to get the job done and get that walk-off win. Kept a couple of their magic streaks going. People were mad that I even mentioned it during the game.
Yeah, you need to smarten up.
It's going to end at some point. It doesn't mean I can never mention it.
Just smarten up about it.
Should I not say it now? Can I say it now?
Yes.
Padres are undefeated when Manny Machado gets at least 2 runs batted in.
Yep.
They're also undefeated when Tanner Scott enters a ball game at all to pitch.
It's a good point here.
And both of those were on the line last night in a tie game.
Yeah, and they came through again. I need money. Says the best part was Higgy was in the dugout going over the pitchers with Diaz instead of crying about not getting an AB. This is a very unselfish baseball team. That's one thing that we absolutely know.
I was watching that scenario, and Higgy's like crouched right in front of Elias Diaz, kind of showing him, all right, you hold your mid up and you show a target.
When they throw it, you want to catch it.
I was thinking, he's not an emergency catcher. He's an all-star, actually. He was an all-star last year. He knows how to catch.
He's just showing him where Bobby likes the mitt, Benny. Come on.
He knows how to catch.
He's showing him where Bobby wants it.
He's done it before.
Okay.
This isn't Tyler Wade strapping on the gear going into catch at the end of the game.
Now that would be fun. He is our backup catcher.
He is.
Now it's
Jake
great.
wishes he was, but it's
Yeah,
Tyler
it's
Wade
Tyler.
actually. All right, we'll come back. We got lots to get to, including Eno Sarris going to join us in our 8 o'clock hour. Coming up here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. If you are a longtime listener, gosh, we certainly appreciate you guys. I would do anything for you, and you know that, including get you batting practice pass. Not all of you, unless if you're a Welsh first-time listener, you can hit me up. We'll talk about Welsh Fryer. How about that kid's night last night? Holy smokes!
Pretty good game to go to.
Good game to go to. Good seats.
Have some nice seats.
I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, the executive producer. To my left is Benjamin Higgins, friendly neighborhood sports anchor, and we are both wearing Army green today. We have the same brand that we shop.
They don't own the color green. Just because the Army decided to wear it doesn't mean the rest of us can't wear a light green earth tone from time to time.
Tell our military that goes out and serves our country.
We're not wearing camo. We're not wearing like logos of the military. We're just wearing a color that exists on the spectrum of colors.
That's true. What was I saying?
You were talking about Welsh Fryer.
Oh, Welsh Fryer. This kid. Yeah. So we had Tom Purnell's his name. He is basically, here's what he is. He's a Welsh baseball fan, and I think he's one of 3 Welsh baseball fans that live in Wales, and he gets up early for games and stays up late for games and all that. He's a huge Padres fan, and the CEO of the Padres, Eric Grupner, hooked him up last night. He had the best seats in the house, the owner's box seats. I mean, they were right there on the on deck circle. I've gotten to sit there one time during the pandemic. They had the plexiglass in front. It was still amazing. And then we sat there for like a couple of innings one time, which was like it's the greatest view you'll ever have, and you can hear in the dugout. So he got the whole game, and he was sitting there. He had his Welsh flag. I mean, it was a really special night for that kid.
I remember Jace Tingler staring at the back of my head because the manager's actually behind you when you're sitting in the seats.
I looked over one time when I was down there, and Jace was before a game, and he had his head in his hands, like contemplating, that night's game. And I looked over, and he saw me and gave me like a head nod. I gave him a head nod, and I just looked away because I caught him in a reflective moment. But really nice night for Welsh last night, dude. I mean, had a really, really great time, and he'll be, I think he's going down for batting practice again tomorrow, so double batting practice. The kid really has announced his presence with authority here in America. And don't be surprised if he's running around the gas lamp here in about 3 years, because I think moving to San Diego is definitely on his Welsh bingo card. He wants to get here, and great night for him. Great night for the guys. He got to see the game on Monday, Labor Day, which was a phenomenal, phenomenal win. And then he got to see the game last night. If I'm him, man, I got to keep going back to the ballpark because every time he goes, something really magical happens. So,
that's true for a lot of people this season.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I hope the streak continues with your old pal Woods tonight as I'm going out this evening.
You know that expression? Hey, it's a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there.
Yeah,
no one ever says that about San Diego.
Never.
There's never a tourist who goes, "Oh yeah, it was a great place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there." No, everyone says it's a great place to visit, and now I want to live there. That's what San Diego is.
Yeah, it just gets you, man. From the minute I landed here, I went, oh, boy, this is...
like Vegas, you can say, oh, it's a great place to visit. I wouldn't want to live there.
Sometimes not even a great place to visit.
Not always.
Not always, depending on how the trip goes. Arizona, oh, man, we had fun out here. Mm-hmm. It's great. Golf courses are nice, but I don't want to live here. Texas, where I'm from, no.
Neither.
Is it even a nice place to visit?
Neither. We talk about what happened yesterday after the show?
No.
We haven't talked about it.
No, we haven't talked about it. Should we talk about it? I vote.
Do people care? What's your vote?
Yes, why not?
Well, because I'm about to drag you.
Yeah.
Right. You knew it was coming.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything wrong.
No, you didn't.
I say fire away.
Fire away? We had a consultant meeting yesterday after the show. Now, this was a self-imposed consultant meeting for our how do we get better as a radio show, right? And this was it was my idea, go figure. And
good guy, liked him.
Great guy. Our old radio consultant. His name is Randy Lane. Hello, Paulie. Hello, Woodsy. That's how he talks. He's
fantastic.
Fantastic. So we're in there, and this is what he listened to a bunch of shows. He's got some notes for us, and I didn't know how long the meeting was. I've been in meetings with Randy that are 4 hours long. Now he's doing this one on the arm, which means for free. So we didn't have to pay him. He just wanted to help because he's a great dude, and he really
Does that really mean for free? I've never heard that expression
it's on the arm.
before.
That's on the arm. Don't worry about it. Yeah.
He was in town recently.
Yeah, he was in town.
Listen to our show.
Listen to our show. Randy's been a mentor to me forever, taught me pretty much everything I know about this business. And I just love the guy. I mean, he's not on staff or anything, but he said, I'll do that for you guys. I'll do an hour or so with you. So we get on and we're learning, and Adam's in there, and he's giving his, I'd say, what's more than 2 cents? He's giving his 50 cents.
It's like 69 cents.
69 cents in that meeting.
$50 bill.
His $50 bill of
He
cents.
gave us his $50 bill.
Yeah, Adam was giving his, and then Randy was kind of telling us, hey, this is what you could do better. What do you like? Blah, blah. So we're talking about, issues and things like that. And boy, I looked over to my right at a 1 hour on the nose. We went 10:15 and it was 11:15. And I looked over to my right, and there's Ben, and he starts doing the I've got a tea time fidget, and he's pulling his pants. It's a rock, and it started to go. And then at one point, he even did but he stopped himself short of the actual clap sound. He went, and I mimed it almost, and I went, all right, I guess we're wrapping it up now. And we did. What is your deal?
All right, I'm going to defend myself here. We had to pick a time in the schedule, and this was the time that worked best for both of you guys. I had already had golf scheduled, and I said, but I can make it work. It's going to be tight, but I can make it work. And I wanted to stay, and I was actually very excited about the session, and I do appreciate Randy doing that for us. And I thought it was very educational and informational. But I did have to get going, and I didn't really want to leave in the middle of it. So I was kind of hoping it would end organically after an hour. And I could tell, and don't deny this, Randy was ready for it to wrap up too. He was at the stage of, do we have any final questions? And I was simply, and let's be honest,
trying to move it along.
I was trying to cut off Adam before he started asking more questions. I really was like, I do not want to sit here for 10 more minutes while Adam asks 3 more questions while I have to leave, and Randy wants to leave too. I think I was doing everybody a public service with just a tiny bit of impatience there at the end.
I would have stayed for 2 more hours.
I know you would have.
I know you would. I was learning so much.
But Randy was done. He had done his thing. He was ready to go. No, I saw his cues. I was watching closely for the cues.
So you're saying that you're really a student of the
hero.
human
I
condition?
am the hero of this story. Is what I'm saying.
You're a student of the human condition.
There should be a Ben at every office meeting and session and seminar who at 1 hour or whenever it's supposed to end does the old...
The clap.
All right. Let's wrap this
Wrap it up.
Someone needs to do that because otherwise these things drag on forever.
I think
no one wants things that drag on forever. Someone needs to do the hand clap that really wraps it up and cuts off the rest of conversations.
I think it should resolve itself of its own momentum.
I'm going to end every show from now on with the, all right, 4 hours is done. We're not talking anymore. Annie and Elson are up next. Hand clap that cuts off all future conversation. It's a heroic move in my part.
I think the thing that bothered me...
The
thing that bothered me...
Because I know I was going to get dragged.
Green, calling himself a hero.
I knew I was going to get dragged for it, and I was okay with it because someone needs to do it.
You want a military discount later, too?
Every meeting. How much is it?
I think what bothered me was that I knew that he had a tea time. That was the tea time clap that got me. If you just had, whatever, normal stuff. All right, whatever. But the fact that he's like, I got to go play golf. In my mind...
You get a 2-shot penalty if you don't make your tea time on time.
What it says to me is, my golf round is more important than our show. That's what it says to me. Now,
Don't think of it that way.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Well, I'm glad we got that hour.
My mental health is good for the show.
That's true. That is also true.
And golf is something I do.
That's true. Our boss, Michael, says, let's meet today after the round table.
Michael?
No. No, I can't. I cannot. But no, yeah, it was, it's just one of those quintessential Ben moments. That's our Ben. It didn't really bother me that much. We got a lot of good info out.
We got a lot of good info.
We did. But I saw.
Can't you tell how much better our show is today?
But I saw the
yesterday.
hand clap, and I think Ben saw me seeing him, and he's like, "If I make the sound, he's gonna go through the roof."
A little bit, yeah.
So he did the I wish I should have filmed it. Next time, Paulie, we got to remember to run tape and
we
run
have security footage in there.
And you listen to him. It's the thing that he does to me on the phone. Hello. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Yep. All right. See you later. Jesus. Bye. And you hang up the phone. Like 4 seconds we were on the phone. I had 3 questions.
You're the one who stares daggers at work meetings when someone asks a question, right?
It's true, but you're my co-host. I call you on the phone. I want to have a nice, relaxing conversation. I don't want to be like, "Hey, man, are we gonna do this tomorrow?" Like it's so frantic. He's sure. It's machine gun, rapid fire. Yeah. Like, all right, you get off the phone. Like, whew, man,
it's genetic. I was talking about my dad earlier. There's no faster conversations than me and him. Have you ever heard a conversation between two people who want the conversation to be over as fast as possible?
It's just a series of noises. Morse code.
Less than 60
Morse
seconds
code.
every single time. I don't think we've ever had a phone conversation that's gone a full minute.
Do you ever go to lunch with your dad?
No.
Never?
Be very fast.
You just sit there and eat. No one says anything. Just.
But we both be really happy and enjoyed it, and that would be it.
Is your dad that way with just you, or is he that way with everyone?
Oh, I think we're both that way, kind of with everyone.
It is so good, man. So good. I love it. Well, you're a gem, and I'm glad you learned a lot. You're doing great, Ben. We learned that. Name check. Got to name check more, Ben. And
you
Paul.
You're also a
Great
gem.
idea, Woods.
You're also a gem, and you're very entertaining. You've got lots of impressions and voices that you do. I don't
Yours
have...
is my favorite, actually.
I don't have many at all. Here,
Sure.
But I tried one in our Throwback Thursday clip. We will revisit Ben's impression. Not accent. We've done accents.
Yeah.
This is Ben's impression. Paulie will cue that up
5 years ago today.
5 years ago today. Oh
5 years ago. Get to that coming up next.
Ben in Spanish. If you were Spanish. Amazing.
That'd be good. They talk fast in Spanish. A lot of words. Very quickly.
So good.
It's coming up next after traffic here on 97.3 The Fan. Breaking sports news while we were gone, before we get to our Throwback Thursday. This is not just big news here in San Diego. It is, but also nationally and internationally as well. In just the last couple of minutes, soccer superstar Alex Morgan of the San Diego Wave has announced her retirement from the sport.
Wow. Damn.
Her final game will be this Sunday, September 8th at Snapdragon Stadium against North Carolina Courage. That's it.
That's it.
For Alex Morgan. Seems like it's out of the blue. Obviously, it's been a tough season for the Wave, and in particular, a tough season for Alex Morgan, who has not scored a single goal. I really hope she gets one in the last game. She is scoreless this season for the Wave, but I had no idea that this was coming imminently. Obviously, she's at the end of what has been a fantastic soccer career, both domestically and internationally, gold medal winning. Just
Two-time World Cup champion and gold medal winner. That's a hell of a career.
But we'll have more audio for you in the Roundel Report in our 9 o'clock hour of some of Alex's words. But she has made San Diego her home. She came to the Wave, embraced San Diego, started her foundation, has already done a ton for the community. And this is big news in the soccer world that just broke moments ago. Alex Morgan announcing her retirement from soccer. So her last game this Sunday, September 8th. All right.
Now, that's going to probably pull from our attendance at the Tier 1 baseball game, Paulie, do you think? Yeah. I think a lot of people are
there to get good attendance.
What time's Wave game?
But it's going to pull from our attendance.
I think it's at 5 o'clock.
Ben?
See, you can catch both.
Our attendance.
Oh, you are hoping for a big crowd
yes,
at your
and now
personal adult league baseball game.
Correct.
5 p.m. That's plenty of time to come catch a Tier 1 dub up in Escondido.
1 o'clock.
And then
straight on doubleheader.
Straight down to
doubleheader.
20 minutes down the 15, get you to Snapdragon.
It's also a Padres game at 1 o'clock on Sunday as well.
All right. Well,
so.
yeah.
It's going to be a hot one.
Congratulations.
It's going to be very tough to get to all 3 of those games.
Congratulations on a brilliant career.
All right, Paulie, set the scene for us. So this was 5 years ago. So right at the start of another football season.
Yep.
5 years ago.
Yep.
What were we talking
ready
about?
For kickoff, and we had only been here a couple of months. And all the title of this clip is Ben does a Woods impression. I don't know that I need to set it up any more than that.
I just did a Ben impression, so
I was literally driving in, listening to you, thinking, you know what would be fun to do?
We got, I think, some context there.
Some context there.
When we started here at 97.3, we were not 6 to 10. We were from 5 a.m. to
That's
9
right.
a.m.
Yep.
I'd almost forgotten.
Old Elton John over here.
Yeah.
Showed up at 5:30 every day.
Every day.
Again, I didn't get home from Channel 10 until after midnight. I did not fall asleep until 1.
Yes.
And getting up and getting here by 5 a.m. was just...
It's too much.
Just too much for me. So I pull in around 5:25 or so.
We were here at 4. We started the show at 5. We did at least 2 segments before Ben ever
which was great.
Stepped in the studio.
I loved it.
You want to start showing up just for Padres wrap-up?
I'd like to do it again.
So that's why Ben was listening to our show while driving in.
Correct. I was literally driving in, listening to you, thinking, you know what would be fun to do today?
What?
We can go division by division, and then Woods goes, you know what we don't do on this show is we don't go division by division and pick our NFL winners. And I'm good, but that's fun. I like doing that.
Did you just do an imitation of me, by the way?
We don't do NFL division by division. We're different. I mean, we're not revolutionary or anything, but we don't go division by division and pick winners. We just don't do that here.
I mean, we have, and it's lame. It's lame. I'm trying to avoid.
It's the first day of the NFL season.
What if people don't care what
you want to
we
be on
think?
Record? Yes, they do.
They don't.
Yes, they kind of do.
I stand behind
I mean,
they don't care.
They shouldn't, but they do.
They don't care. Are we in agreement on this now? Finally? Do you finally believe
Did you hear our NFL preview yesterday? Give me your Super Bowl champion. We literally took 14 seconds on our NFL season preview. We do have our first NFL threesome coming out. We're going to do that a little bit differently this year as well.
I like how he's
coming up at 9:20 this morning. I thought so when I started, I didn't have it, but I thought in the second part of the clip, I kind of nailed it.
Did you just do an imitation of me, by the way?
We don't do NFL division by division. We're different. I mean, we're not revolutionary or anything, but we don't go division by division and pick winners. We just don't do that here.
I don't talk like this. We don't do that here.
Sounds identical.
You sound like a
In my ear, identical.
Like a 9 or 10-year-old boy that thinks he's older.
Yes.
Like, hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Can I borrow a razor? I got to shave this one hair off my face.
Hey, Dad, let me get the remote. Dad, what's for dinner?
Hey, Dad, I can't find my deodorant. Did you steal it? Because I use deodorant now.
Yeah, I have a deodorant. By division, we're different. I mean, we're not revolutionary or anything, but we don't go division by division. I mean, today is that day. If you want to do it.
We're not doing it.
I know.
We
you
have
know
our
why
football
we're not
threesome.
doing it?
JH619 says, I thought that was Woods, actually. That's exactly. I was nailed it. Nailed it.
I don't think you did.
Oh.
Corey says, what's the only reason we're here is because we care what you guys say. All right, fair enough.
Speaking of football season, it also means a whole new list of promos for our imaging director at the station to handle. That also happens to be Paul Reindl, not just the executive producer of this show, but he's also the imaging director for 97.3 The Fan. So all the great promos that you hear during our breaks, rejoins, coming back into segments, going into traffic, Paulie's responsible for putting all those together with, the music and the different elements.
Jared Goff and the Lions host Matthew Stafford and the Rams on Sunday Night Football in a game that should feature tons of scoring. Our coverage begins Sunday following the Padres-Giants game. The NFL plays here on 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, that's our voice guy. What's his name? Do we know? Voice guy. He's just voice guy.
The voice of God.
He's our voice guy. He works in some studio somewhere, and Paulie sends him the scripts. Do you write the scripts, or does Adam write the scripts? How does it work?
Adam usually writes them, and then he sends them over to me. The voice guy sends a file over to me, and sometimes he'll read the full script. Sometimes it's just a bunch of parts that I can save. Sunday at 4:30. That's going to be used a ton.
Sure.
So I'll just save those, and then I have them to.
His name is John Riley, Adam says? John Riley?
John Riley.
I wasn't going to blast it out there.
Oh, no. Now, all of a sudden, his anonymity has been exposed. John Riley's
not
life
John C. Riley.
will never be the same again.
And John's great. We've played some clips from him before. For whatever reason, it's kind of like how if you say something, Woods, it's not that funny. If Ben says the same exact thing, it's the funniest thing we've ever heard.
Correct.
When the voice of God, the station voice guy, is not talking necessarily in promo mode, and he's curses or
it's
just,
amazing.
It's funny.
He's a bit master.
Yeah,
It kills me every time.
Kills me every time.
And I'm getting it from all angles now because I got you guys who takes you 5 minutes to record a 30-second spot when we have to record those after the show.
More Woods than me.
Right.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Ben
Start
goes,
again.
all right,
3, 2, 1.
Hey, it's Ben.
I've gotten much better.
Hey, it's Ben Higgins. Hey, it's Ben from SD Fat. All right, 3, 2, 1. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, read it.
Paulie's rotting.
Just read it.
Paulie's rotting in here on a Friday.
So I deal with you guys at least 2 or 3 times a week, and then I'm doing production all week because it's the NFL season. We got several games that you'll be hearing: Sunday night, Monday night football. And John has caught whatever bug you guys caught because listen to how hard it was for him to just read one. By the way, 15-second liner.
All right, here we go. Jared Goff and the Lions host Matthew Stafford and the Rams Sunday off. Jared Goff and the Lions host Matthew Stafford and the Rams on Sunday Night Football in a game that should feature 2 tons. What the am I reading? Sorry. English would be good. English would be a good language to speak. Bear with me a second. Jared Goff and the Lions host Matthew Stafford and the Rams Sunday night. Wow. Jared Goff and the Lions host Matthew Stafford and the Rams on Sunday Night Football in a game that should feature tons of scoring. Our coverage... The NFL plays... Our coverage begins Sunday at 4:30. The NFL... Nope. Could you tell I that up? Our coverage begins Sunday at 4:30. The NFL plays here on... I'm sorry about that. The NFL plays here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Oh, so good. He was scuffling.
Everyone, and Paulie, I don't know if you call it, everyone is dying to replay when Annie joined the station, and we had to get the last name
Heilbrunn.
of Annie
Heilbrunn.
Heilbrunn. He had a lot of trouble with that one.
He is fantastic. And I love that he does the bits and doesn't just send over it clean. Now, it sucks for Paulie, but at least we get to play it on the air.
We do.
The next day, which is always good.
And we will also get to hear one of his legendary flubs in the intro to our next segment when Eno Saris joins us for the Smart Baseball segment, which is coming up next. And Paulie will, maybe later in the show, we'll have
I got it ready,
Annie Heilbrunn as well. So stick around for that if everyone remembers it. They're asking for it. We will deliver a little bit later. But Eno is coming up next. Saris.
Son of a bitch.
Is going to join us next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Saris was telling us that someday you may regularly see fastballs getting up to, 105, 110. Didn't know it was going to happen so fast, though. We're going to ask him about Ben Joyce's extra velocity for the Los Angeles Angels coming up. Our Smart Baseball segment, Eno is standing by. Don't forget, we got the Eno Open, too, right after this check of traffic on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a handful of trouble spots this time around, guys. Westbound King Freeway at the 15. Accident involving a couple vehicles, not showing if any lanes are blocked. Also, crash on southbound 125 just past Lemon. It's mostly over the right shoulder. Couple vehicles involved. In the North County, southbound 15 past Poway Road, a collision involving a couple cars. That's over the right shoulder. And on the North 5 coastline, just past Basilone, there's an overturn crash, not showing if lanes are blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's time for the super polished, yet to be named Smart Baseball Weekly segment with Eno Harris, Saris, son of a bitch. Brought to you by 7 Mile Casino, just 7 minutes from the ballpark by the bay in Chula Vista. Here's Eno Saris with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Another flub from the great John Riley there on Eno's Open as we welcome him in the segment brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. Eno from The Athletic, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. It's just the Padres world, and we're all living in it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It's there's no shortage of exciting moments at Petco Park.
Yeah, I kept thinking it would be Jackson Money Merrill last night, and instead Fernando Tatis reannounces his presence.
Surprise!
Yeah, surprise. He's back.
And then surprise, my shirt came off in the celebration.
Oh, how did this happen again?
Were there baseball fans on the East Coast that woke up and go, "Oh, son of a bitch, he's back"?
Yeah, he's back.
They got even better.
Yeah, he hit the ball really hard a couple times before that last hit.
Scorched it.
And so I kept feeling like, okay, he's starting to get back. What you're seeing, I think, is interesting with Tatis, and you saw it with Julio Rodriguez, and there's a couple other guys, is not so much of a rehab stint in the minors, and just the idea maybe that like getting your timing back against inferior opponents in the minor leagues, like. You're still going to come up and still have an adjustment period in the major leagues when you get back up because everyone throws the ball harder and locates better. So why not just have that adjustment period in the major leagues? And the question is, like, is a rehab stint for Fernando Tatis better than, having as a part in the lineup? And, the answer is, I think, a resounding yes.
Early in the game, the storyline was the return of Yu Darvish. And obviously, it didn't go completely smoothly. Command seemed to be a little off. But what, if you had a chance, saw about his stuff in the game yesterday? I thought he got 11 swing and miss. So, still seemed to have some of the classic Yu Darvish repertoire.
Yeah, I thought he looked all right. Getting the cobwebs off himself, and I think it'll be okay. The thing that I see with him is the command wasn't all the way back. In terms of the stuff metrics, they're all there. He's got the great breaking balls. The fastball still performs really well, even though he doesn't use it as often. But he had I have a number also we don't talk about as much called location plus, which is the count and pitch type adjusted the locations at the plate. And he had a really poor number there. So I think that's just getting back on the mound and getting that's the sort of rust that you'll see with pitchers.
Talking to our pal Saris from The Athletic here on Ben and Woods this morning, and I want to get to your piece that you wrote. I'm fascinated with it about starting pitchers that have switched teams. But quickly, I wanted to ask you, unless you're a Dodgers broadcaster, you were pretty amazed by what Ben Joyce was able to do the other night. Fastest pitch in the StatCast era, 105.5, is pretty astounding to think about. I've watched him pitch. It's a marvel. It's just insane to watch the velocity that this kid has. And wasn't he throwing like 103 in college? So I don't know why everyone was.
No, he had 105 some plus in college too. He had the record for the fastest pitch in Division I baseball.
It's just insane.
it's just there's so many ways I can think about it. I mean, one, people are like, why isn't the strikeout rate better? Well, because shape matters, and he has kind of more of a sinkerish shape on his fastball than a four-seam shape. So that explains some of it. But he will never give up tons of homers. You throw 106 with a sinker, yes, you might give up some hits, but you're never going to go homers. Another thing I think of is people like to say, oh, well, we measure things differently, and guys used to throw as hard. And one thing I will say is that the maximum velocity, where he's throwing 105.5, Chapman's been right there. Other people have been right there. We haven't nobody's gotten a 106 plus, 106.0 plus, and since the maximum hasn't changed since we've been doing it, I'm pretty sure that there were guys back in the day, maybe a Nolan Ryan, maybe a Walter Johnson, maybe any of those guys. I bet you there were guys back in the day that threw 100 plus, because the maximum hasn't changed that much. So yeah. there were guys. What we have seen, and I don't get how people can't see this, is the like fifth starter, like the fifth reliever.
Yeah.
The guys that used to throw 85, 87, they all throw 93 to 95 now. And that's the price of admission in baseball now. And people say, oh, we measure things differently and this and that and the other. We have not changed anything about the technology or how we measure things since 2020. And the amount of 95-mile-an-hour fastballs has gone from like 18% to like 38% in 4 years. So I'm sorry, you cannot tell me the velocity is not up in the big leagues. I'm sorry. It's like maybe the very top throwers threw hard. So those are all the kind of things that I think of when I see that. I also wonder what's it going to take to get past 106. Robot ligaments. Some Giannis type guy out there, some just huge guy that's even bigger than Chapman. I wonder how we get past 106.
When the price of admission goes up even higher to like the mid 90s, and everyone, I mean, it has gone up like 10% in our lifetime. Can hitters keep up? At some point, is there a limitation of human reaction that they're no longer at 60 feet 6 inches going to be able to hit the ball with any regularity?
I think we've seen hitters do a couple adjustments. If you've looked around, and I'm sorry, Dennis Lynn, we are still going to write this piece, but we've been looking at how, if you think about it, other than like Campusano, who we love and is part of this piece, is the way hitters hit has become more uniform. You no longer have Craig Counsell, opening up a umbrella in a phone booth. You don't have Tony Batista with the like crazy wide open stance. The old crazy stances are gone. The reason is you have no time. There's no time to be wasted. So when I talk to hitters, a lot of times hitters that are taking a big step forward, they say, "Oh, I cleaned this up in the back. I got tighter in the back. I had less movement in the back." And so hitters have become more uniform because they don't have any time. They have to react. Another thing that I think of is that I think that, the value of, I'm going to say guessing, but anticipating, scouting reports and anticipating, that has, and then using something like a Traject, which is this new hitting machine that basically shows you the way there's like a hologram of the pitcher who's pitching that night delivering you the ball. And so you can kind of get the whole delivery cue and everything. So all that value goes up because you have to in order to hit 99 and also the 90-mile-an-hour slider, I think you have to do some measure of anticipation. Some people call it guessing, but that has a really negative connotation to it. I would say anticipating the pitch. So those are two things that I think hitters have done. Since the maximum hasn't changed that much, I do have some confidence they can continue to do so because they have improved. That's another debate. Are hitters any better today? A lot of people say no. I say they've improved. And I think they've stuck with it. I do wonder what happens if we break past 106. And I am somewhat of a component of moving the mound back to reduce some of that velo.
Yeah, I think I'd be all for that. I think most hitters would be at any level. It makes me when I hear guys throwing 105. I think to myself, should I just get my kids into different sports right now? It's hard to comprehend. It's hard to comprehend the mind going there. But I want to talk about your piece that you just posted in The Athletic about.
Well, one other thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick on that one, because my kid's a little small and like he's going to be developing later, like I did. I was puberty in high school, dude. Was one of those guys. I grew a foot in high school. And Ben Joyce was the same guy.
Wow.
He was so small that he couldn't make his high school team until senior year by the time he'd grown a little bit more, and he grew in college some more. So that's something that happens. You look around Little League right now, the guys who developed earlier are dominating. There are guys on that field that are smaller that are going to be pros, and you just don't know it yet.
It's so good. Yeah, I mean, it's all about kind of the heart and how much you put in the work, certainly. But
Ben Joyce has a twin brother who throws 97 at top.
Good God, what are they feeding
so
these
it's just
kids?
All desire, but it's desire.
It's desire,
twin brother. And he said all his life he just wanted to throw as hard as possible. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I wanted to ask you about your piece, and I love this. It's in The Athletic, and it's talking about it's the starters who changed teams at the deadline, and then altered the way they pitch. You started off by saying, as a pitching coach, it's an exciting proposition. You get a major league quality starting pitcher who's been in a different organization. Then you get your hands in the dough, so to speak, and you go, I'm watching your starts, I'm watching your pitch mix. It's all wrong. We need to do it this way. And then you obviously need buy-in from that pitcher. He's been traded to your team. You mentioned Kikuchi for the Astros is one that's changed at Montas, Aaron Savale as well. Walk us through kind of what got you started on this and what you were able to find. And what organizations do the best at honing or maybe changing what a pitcher does?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Brewers are actually a really good example of this. I mean, one thing that is cool with what they've done with Frankie Montas and Aaron Savale is they've revisited things that those guys have done in the past. So they're not having the pitcher arrive and they'll be like, "Hey, we're gonna have you throw a changeup you've never thrown before."
Right.
It's more like we were looking at your pitches, and with Savale, they're like, "Hey, you used to have a slider. We want to bring the slider back with a slight little tweak, so that it's more different than your sweeper," and that's what he's doing now. And so he's a weird guy because the cutter is his fastball, and his sweeper is a slider. So now this harder slider he's throwing is his cutter, So it's that bridge pitch that kind of makes him kind of go short. He has the short cutter, the little bit longer gyro slider, and then the even longer sweeper. So he's short, medium, long. And that makes it hard for anybody to kind of be like, "Oh, that's the sweeper, that's the cutter," And so it's something he'd done before, but they had a little tweak on it. With Montas, it started in Oakland here. He started throwing his slider harder, and the Milwaukee's basically said for the first time, "Hey, don't even worry about the regular slider anymore. The one that you came up with, the one that you think is really good, don't worry about that. The cutter that you've been throwing 90 miles an hour, that's the better pitch." And so they just actually had him sort of turf a pitch that he'd been pitching forever. I like that because it's within what they've done before, and it's really good. But so I think the Brewers are good at this thing. One guy that I missed, and I should have put on there
tonight's starter.
Perez.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about
that. It was just like I got into it with like, oh, these guys really stood out, and to some extent, it's a bias on my part that I'm not sure it can continue at this level from our team.
Sure.
But he has tripled his curveball usage. Like tripled. And it's kind of amazing because that's never what you think of with Martin Perez. Martin Perez in the past has done little things where he's like, "Oh, I'm going to try this now. I'm going to try this now." And he's had little bursts of success. He had some real good success in Texas. But this year, but usually what he does is up the cutter usage. That's what he did in Texas. And then he's upped the changeup usage over his career. This is the first time he's throwing the curveball 27% of the time. He was throwing it 10% of the time in Pittsburgh, and his previous high was 12 in his rookie season. So this is a whole new look for him where he's kind of a 4-pitch, 25%, 25%, 25% guy where it's cutter, sinker, curve, change. And I love it when I see those percentages line up that way, because I think when you are truly random like that, and they can't, what I was talking about earlier about anticipating, they can't really anticipate on him, because now it could be any of those 4 pitches at any time.
He just needs to find the zone. I mean, he just lost the zone the last couple of outings, but he was so sharp his first couple.
There has been some discussion that he actually started it like the last couple of starts in Pittsburgh before
figured something
switching
out.
organizations. But clearly Ruben Niebla, now he's a maximum repertoire guy. He's tried to add a pitch to just about everybody other than Yu Darvish, who already has 11 of them. But he tries to add pitches to most guys' repertoires when they get here. Now, that's usually an off-season sort of thing, but even in season, Joe Musgrove has changed his, even this year. It doesn't ever stop.
Joe Musgrove's new slider is a great example. I cannot tell you how much I love Ruben Niebla. I have never told him this. I wish I need to find him and tell him, because I think he is the best pitching coach in baseball. And I think that reputation has followed him. I've had other people tell me that about him. And I think it's great. One thing I saw, I was at a conference, they showed that if you add a pitch that's very different than your other pitches, it adds value to your arsenal. But one thing that it does is that pitch that is very different won't get swings. So it becomes very important that you command it. Ooh. So it's interesting you're talking about Martin Perez really upping the curveball usage. It's really important that he commands it, because it's different than his other pitches. If a hitter sees that different pitch, they're more likely to not swing. So what he needs to do is throw that curveball in the zone.
That's so good.
Ruben's pretty good tier 1, so you may have just told him.
Yeah,
so there you go.
listens.
Eno, appreciate it. We will talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
All right, thanks, guys.
Smart Baseball with Eno Saris, brought to you by 7 Mile Casino. Really good stuff, as always. Your new man crush coming up next.
Yes, Trevor Plouffe.
Trevor Plouffe.
Excited.
Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, if you missed it, Eno Saris just called Ruben Niebla the best pitching coach in baseball here on Ben and Woods.
And he's heard it from so many former students of Ruben Niebla. What a G he is, and a better human being than he is a pitching coach.
It really was a coup for A.J. Preller to pluck him from the Cleveland Guardians organization and bring him to San Diego. What was that, 2 years ago when he did that?
2 or 3?
Maybe 3. It certainly had a major impact on the Padres organization. You could just tell the difference
almost
of what he's brought.
Yeah.
Just about everybody improved under his career.
Wasn't that long ago,
I don't think
was
it was that long ago. Not
2021.
quite that long ago, but however long it's been.
Lifetime contract for Ruben.
I mean,
you leave when you
does
want
he want to be
leave.
a manager?
I don't
next
know.
Step up. Pitching coaches, not often. Bud Black did it, but it's usually not the career path to being a manager.
I just figure, you're so good. You're so good at what you do. You're just the best at what you do. I don't know.
Obviously helped that he's from this area and got to come
I have
home.
always wondered, though, if he has a higher aspirations to be a manager, because, I would sign up for that right away.
I think our next guest could manage if he wanted
I
to.
agree.
I absolutely do.
And our next guest is going to be in town this weekend with several former big leaguers. You'd recognize some of the names like LaTroy Hawkins, Kenny Lofton, Jacques Jones, Randy Wolf, Steve Traxel, Charles Nagy, and joining us right now, you've seen him on the Chris Rose rotation. He is Woods' man crush.
Yes,
Trevor
Plouffe.
A
little bit.
Is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. Trevor, it is good to have you on the show. We've been talking about you for a while now. We got you here.
What's up, guys? You got a crush on me? Okay,
A little bit.
Nice to hear.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's partly because you're very handsome, but the other part is that I like your measured takes a lot. And I like,
thank you.
I do, and I think, we live in San Diego, and there's some doomer activity that happens, and there's been some epic once-in-a-lifetime collapses. But when we watch this Padres team every day, it's hard for me to find things to doom about right now. I mean, they're really clicking on all cylinders, and it's been such a joy to watch. And I like your measured takes about, the season length and what guys are going through. It just makes sense in my head.
Yeah, I think that it's not fun to talk about, hey, man, it's a 162-game season, so you're going to go through these streaks where you play bad ball. You're going to go through these streaks where you play good ball, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why people fall in love with the game of baseball. At least one of the reasons is that it is a 162-game season. It's a marathon. That the good teams do rise to the top by the end of it. So, whenever I see, like you mentioned, I didn't know what you were saying with doomer, but now I understand.
Yeah.
When I see kind of doom takes or people on the flip side just getting so crazy about a team getting off to a fast 30, 40-game start, I'm like, dude, this is a long season. We got to let things play out. I think that works on the individual level as well. But I tend to have that perspective because I lived it. I guess I don't know.
Trevor Plouffe's going to be in town for the Still Got Game Foundation's free youth baseball and softball clinic. We'll talk about that in a second. But I did hear you mention that you're going to get out to Petco Park while you're here as well.
I don't know if I'm going to get out to Petco Park. I've been down there quite a bit this season, whether it was for calling games for the Twins, or I also took my youth team down there, and they're the SoCal Padres, so they're in Los Angeles, walking around with brown and yellow on and just getting absolutely chastised everywhere they go. So we wanted to make sure that they felt some love.
I was going to say, that sounded dangerous.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
Dude. Yeah. They're 9 years old, so watch out. But we brought them down to Petco, got them batting practice tickets. The guys were really cool. Came out and said hi to them. So it was awesome to see them getting that love because they just don't get that here in Los Angeles. So I don't know if I'm going to get out to Petco this weekend.
But you saw him recently.
I've been down there a lot, and I love that stadium. That is, I think it's the best stadium in all the big leagues, guys.
And pandering will get you
It
everywhere.
helps. But
on this
so
show.
my question though was, having seen them and recently, how excited should we be as Padres fans with this team right now?
I think as excited as you can be for a team right now, because, I mean, tell me, I guess, where the holes are at. I don't know. You get Tatis back. The lineup was already pretty long. Any team that has a chance and really is a complete team has kind of like surprise people showing up for them, which I got to say, Jackson Merrill has been a surprise. Obviously a rookie changing positions, doing what he's done has been awesome. Jurickson Profar has been a surprise. You signed him for $1 million. He was an all-star. I know the numbers have taken a hit, but still overall it's been great. And then what I like most is, not sitting idly at the trade deadline. The back end of the bullpen in general is just absolutely incredible and can put out fires whenever need be, and there's enough high leverage guys that I just think there isn't a spot that you can point to and say the Padres are deficient here, except I guess, which is kind of crazy to say, shortstop. A team full of shortstops.
Yes.
I always say that.
Yes.
Like, how do you guys not have like a real shortstop? I
We
don't
say
get
it too,
that, but,
all the time.
I just think that they're one of the most complete teams in all of baseball.
Yeah, it feels that way, certainly. And then the ability, Trevor, to come back. Last night, 5-0. Last year, I'm probably, with what we went through watching this team, I'm probably turning the game off, and I covered the team for a living. I was so mad the majority of last, just an angry, bitter, like this was supposed to be a 100+ win team. We're not going to get close. We're not even going to make the playoffs. Now, 5-0. My kids asked me to read them a story. I'm like, yeah, we got time, and I just know they're like an NBA team for me. I can put on the last 20 minutes of the game and like see the best parts of it with this team, and you can't quantify it, but it's a real thing. They keep doing it.
Yeah, I think I'll probably get flagged for this just because of, the zeitgeist of baseball now. But I think they score in so many different ways. Obviously, the bullpen's a big part of that. If you have guys that can shut the game down and shut the other team down later in the game from scoring runs, it gives you a chance to catch up. But I love that, you see.
Oh, no. Did we lose him?
Oh, we lost him.
Then obviously you have guys that can click for a 3-run homer. Like, being able to do all those different things, it allows you to score in a plethora of different ways. And I think that's why you're seeing them, being able to score runs late in the game and continuously being able to put up crooked numbers. I love teams that do that put pressure on, that they're not all about the 3-run homer. Like, they're willing to move guys over, sacrifice at bats, whatever it may be. Like, just being able to play different types of baseball, I think, is important. And I think it's been lost a little bit in the data generation, but Padres have it, man. They really do.
And it's funny because every year we get to the playoffs, and I was kind of like, it's not just my thing, it's a lot of people's thing. They're like, the team that has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark, those are the scary teams. You're going against the cream of the crop. Now, the Padres, it's not like they don't hit home runs. They do, but they don't have the 40, 45 home run masher in the middle of the lineup. They just got a bunch of guys that can hit 15, 20 home runs. When you look at how the game is being played by them, do you look at them as a viable option in the playoffs with the way their offense is structured?
I do. I mean, like you said, it doesn't really matter how many home runs you hit in the regular season. I understand the home run rate is part of that, but I think Tatis is probably, I know over the last couple of years it hasn't been that, but in my opinion, he'll get back to being that 40 home run guy. So you have him back in the lineup. I don't know, man. I do think.
Oh, no.
One of high leverage arms. I don't know what you guys consider a high leverage arm down there, but I would consider you guys have 5 guys in the bullpen that like can come and get big outs whenever you need them, and that is just so important when it comes to the big league or to the playoffs. And then put on top of that, like you have a true ace in Dylan Cease, and I don't know, the recipe is there for me, big time.
Because you cut out a couple of times, I want to make sure we tell everybody why you're coming to town, because this is a really cool event. Trevor, what is the Still Got Game Foundation? And then the youth clinic that's going to be offered this Saturday at Sunshine Little League, which is right by Channel 10. I go by it every single day. Who is it open to, and what are you guys going to be doing here this weekend?
It's open to anyone. So it's a free baseball and softball clinic for disadvantaged youth. You mentioned it's at Sunshine Little League. 10:15 to 12:45. it's going to be a bunch of dudes just out there kind of, playing baseball and having different opinions out there. We have some pitchers, we have some outfielders, we have some infielders. It's just a time for us to come and share some of the knowledge with everybody. And the Still Got Game Foundation is awesome. I've kind of found myself doing more and more with them over the last couple of years, but it's a foundation founded by, guys like Ken Griffey Jr., Torrey Hunter, Kenny Lofton, Steve Trexel. There's a couple of reasons I like doing events with them. I think the game of baseball is better or at its best when you draw from all different types of life, whether that's different nations, whether that's different backgrounds here in the U.S. And that's kind of one of the main focuses is making sure that everyone, either has gear or the proper coaching, no matter your income level or where you come from. So that's a big plus for me. And then another part of the foundation is providing financial literacy to like young adults, which I think is hugely missing in like our education world. Ask a high schooler about taxes or and how to, I guess writing a check doesn't really make sense anymore, but the common financial literacy that you need to become an adult just doesn't really get taught in our schools. So I think that's something that is the focus of the organization that I truly believe in as well. So I love it. Come hang with us. It's a fun group of guys. We have a good time whenever we get together. And I'm low on the totem pole as far as big league experience and prowess. So come check those guys out.
Ask a radio host about taxes and how it works.
No
You're
idea.
probably not going to get a great answer from us either. So
I still don't know what a deductible is for insurance. I don't even know what it means.
I'm telling you, man,
I have no
our
idea.
education system, I don't get it, dude. I don't know why they don't do it, but they don't. So
My wife said, what's the deductible? I have no idea. What does that mean?
How much do I have to
What
pay?
do I have to pay?
Just
Just tell me what I
Give me
need
a
to do,
number.
and I'll do. Man, thanks so much. I love your work with Chris Rose. He's also one of our favorite guests. Tell Rosie we say hi, and hope to talk to you again real soon, man.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right, buddy.
Trevor Plouffe. And again, if you've got a youth aged 8 to 14, and again, it's this is targeted toward disadvantaged. It's by Channel 10. It's kind of a more of a disadvantaged area. But if this is appropriate, you should take your kid out and meet these big league players who are going to offer their instruction and experience. Registration, you just show up this Saturday, September 7th at 10 a.m. Sunshine Little League, which is at Federal Boulevard. It's 4402 Federal Boulevard, kind of right off the 94 freeway there. You're going to be out there for like 2.5 hours just getting some big league experience and hearing from some of these big leaguers.
I'm telling you, man, the kids love talking to big leaguers and ex-big league. I mean, Bo was so excited he got to meet Kurt Bavacqua. He was like, I met Kurt Bavacqua, remember? And he asked him if he played with Babe Ruth. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, Kurt Bavacqua, we played a long time ago.
A long time ago.
So the funny thing that he mentioned was the fact that he runs a team, the SoCal Padres, but they're based out of L.A., and they get worn out. And it's funny because I think we should stop doing that. Like, let's stoke the provincialism in our. There's a little league where he plays, Encinitas Little League, and there's a team called the Dodgers, and they're in full gear. And he goes, I will not play for them. And I go, what if that's the team we're assigned or you're assigned? He goes, I'm not playing. His soccer team, his game start is Saturday. They're the Royals, and they are in royal blue. He's sick. And I had to tell him, it's the Royals. You're not playing on the Dodgers. He's like, I don't even want to wear it.
It's interesting. When I was a kid, growing up in Seattle, no teams were the Mariners.
No teams were the Mariners.
Yeah, we didn't have the Padres when I was growing up either.
Every team was a major league team.
But not
Cubs, Angels, Rangers, whatever.
I was the Pirates.
I was a Pirate, too.
And I think they just thought too many coaches maybe even might fight over who's going to be the Mariners that year.
I was the Cobras.
But down here, everybody's the Padres.
Well, and
I MC for Little League, their opening day. I have to read like 100 team names. It's 90% of them are Padres related. Manny's Mashers.
Well, it was genius because the Padres several years ago started providing different Little League jerseys for leagues.
Yes.
And, they'd be different eras, like the 80s Padres and the 90s Padres and the, brown and gold Padres. So you have several different Padres teams, all with different colors, but they're all the Padres. And why wouldn't you do that? That gets every kid in your town excited about your team rather than wearing the colors of other teams.
It's hysterical. Like, he just was like, wait, what? What are we? What colors are our jersey? I'm like, it's royal blue. He's like, I go, you're fine. You're fine. But if he got on in Encinitas Little League, and they're in full Dodgers gear, full up. If I was the coach, I got to rock a Dodge. It would be terrible. So I got to pick this year. We start our first practice for fall ball is on Sunday, and we're the Bulls again, the Durham Bulls. So we love that.
Minor league always works.
Minor league always works.
All right, when we come back, it is back. Our football threesome. Going to do it a little differently this year, but we're going to have, obviously, a look ahead to tonight's opener. Big game, games to watch, and our best bets for the week. All coming up next. Yeah, football talk, really, with Ben and Woods. After traffic here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got some tickets for the Aztecs Oregon State game to give away.
The Beavers.
Later this segment. The Beavers are coming to town.
Are they
if you'd
any
like
good?
to see the Beavers, you'll be able to see the Beavers on Saturday.
Absolute pervert.
Got a good friend who's a big
Big
Beaver fan.
Oh. Well,
also an alum of
probably have
Oregon
more
State.
of those friends than
Guilty
you
as
know.
charged.
Is that the greatest line in movie history? Frank Drebin and Naked Gun? Nice beaver. Is that the greatest line in movie history?
She hands it down from the attic.
Can you pull, please, quickly, pull it, clip it, and let's hear it.
Killing me.
We used to play it on the very first show I did all the time.
We can do it while we were getting into our very first 2024 football threesome.
Here we go.
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it!
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL threesome
Not
with
yet.
Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
That's a real call.
We've gone beyond double entendres.
That was not AI referee.
No, it was real.
We're up to triple and quadruple entendres on this show.
Indeed.
All right, it's the football threesome, and here's how we're going to do it this year on Thursdays. We are going to just focus in on the weekend that is upcoming in the National Football League, and we'll start with Thursday Night Football, which this week happens to be...
Question.
What?
Isn't that what most shows do?
I don't know.
Focus on the weekend ahead.
Last year we did like headlines, like news stories.
That's true.
But we've got other places. If there's big news, we'll just get to it. But we're just going to focus in on the weekend. And tonight's Thursday Night Football, of course, is the season opener, 5:20 p.m., NBC, Thursday Night Football. The Baltimore Ravens, not only featuring the reigning MVP of the National Football League, Lamar Jackson, but their new running back, one Derrick Henry, remember, switched teams in the offseason, taking on the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs 3-point favorites in the game at Arrowhead Stadium tonight. But remember, they lost as the defending Super Bowl champions in the season opener last year to the surprising Detroit Lions.
Paulie goes, I had my betting site open, and I just was like, oh, hell yeah, Chiefs are going to win this game. He goes, hey, they lost last year, and you had them as your survivor pick, and you were out after week one.
Day one.
Went, oh, but day one.
Day one.
One day. So I went, and I went ahead.
Didn't even make it to Sunday.
It's like, that was done on Friday. I was like, here's my $40. Can I re-up, please? And then I was out after like the next week.
And then Ben lost like a week or two later.
I did.
We
had to start
Start over.
over.
It was so stupid. Are we doing it again?
Yeah, they lost 21-20 to Detroit on opening night last year.
It was a nightmare, dude.
I don't think the Chiefs aren't going to want to lose twice in a row on opening night.
I took the points, man. I took the Ravens and the points based on just last year's experience of, maybe a little bit of a slow start for the Super Bowl hangover, but it hasn't affected them. They've won 2 straight. So what a great Thursday night game. And maybe for once I'll be at the Padres game. So maybe they'll have it on where I can watch a little bit of it, but I'm going to be locked in on
good
Martin
reminder,
Perez.
whatever happens tonight, don't overreact.
Yeah, don't
the Chiefs
freak out.
lost last year. They still won the Super Bowl. Baltimore could lose. They could still go on and win the Super Bowl. They're certainly one of the teams that is expected to be contenders in the AFC. So the NFL, surprise, surprise, has picked a pretty good, interesting opener for tonight's game.
Yep.
I
Now,
was going to say, I have a lot of gripes with the NFL, just morally. But my God, they get it right. The broadcasts are great.
Yeah, it's sharp.
Red Zone is undefeated. And you look at these matchups and you're just like, yeah, I'm in. Okay, you got me. Tomorrow's game in Brazil is looking like a fun one. Green Bay versus Philadelphia.
That's part 2 of our football threesome, is what game are you circling the rest of the week is the one that's most interesting. I was going to pick that one, Paulie, the game in Brazil tomorrow. It's the Packers versus the Eagles. This is the first time that a game will be played in South America. I know they're I don't want to say they're running into problems, but I saw a story. They're like telling players, just don't leave the hotel, essentially.
What is the deal?
Sao Paulo is not the
safest place.
Of places, and they don't want any incidents, so they basically just sequestering them in the hotel. Which
Definitely smart to play there then.
I don't know exactly. Why are you there if that's the lengths that you have to go? Is the NFL so obsessed with expanding their brand and their reach that they're like going places they probably shouldn't even be going at this point?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Just wait until they're ready for you then.
Agreed.
Don't rush it, don't push it, but they're pushing it. And obviously that's an interesting game as well with, Jordan Love against Jalen Hurts. They have a good lineup of games for the opening weekend of the season.
They have. We were going to pick the top game to watch. That's yours?
That's mine.
All right, I'm going to go against the grain here and pick the Panthers at the Saints.
Interesting.
Very against the grain.
Care to elaborate?
I mean,
yeah, it was doing a bit because I couldn't care less about watching that football game in particular. But there are some good matchups. Raiders and Chargers is going to be a fairly interesting one because, again, I will say this about the Chargers. This is the first year in the last 4 years where I have not seen the national pub that's saying, this is their year. This is their year. I have not seen that.
It's simply been because of the addition of Jim Harbaugh, though.
Yeah.
There's really no good reason to be high on the Chargers, other than you think Jim Harbaugh is some
elite coach
who's going to turn things around. The culture, everything about an organization that has had bad culture essentially for 60 years.
Right. But I honestly, I'm not seeing the blowhards, the Colin Cowherds of the world going, this is it. Justin Herbert takes the next step. They're going to the next level. I haven't seen it.
They lost most of their playmakers.
Right.
Keenan Allen, gone. They still have Justin Herbert. Who is he going to throw to? They're going to focus more on the running game, which is weird when you have Justin Herbert and you're paying him hundreds of millions of dollars, but give him no one to throw to. And they're kind of in salary cap purgatory because they had to clear so much cap space. So they're not one of the more talented teams in the league. And again, they play 17 road games every single year, including the first one, which is going to be one of the biggest home road games ever when they got the Las Vegas Raiders, and it'll be 75% silver and black at SoFi Stadium for the opener on Sunday.
It's an interesting game.
I'm most excited, I think, for Monday night, actually.
Yeah.
No Padres game next Monday, and it'll be Aaron Rodgers again.
Oh, the return.
He is an enigma,
Polarizing.
Man, he is very polarizing. I'm fascinated. He is one of the greatest at throwing a football to ever live, though, and I'm curious to see at age 40, 41, whatever he's at now, coming off that injury, and he's returning home to Northern California, taking on the NFC champs, the Niners. I think that's going to be a fun game.
They're trying to make it as though, was it an insult that the Niners didn't draft you as the native? That was 20 years ago.
He's still pissed.
Let it go.
No, he's still pissed.
This is a huge season, obviously, for the Niners, though, because Brock Purdy's about to get really expensive. This is your chance to win with a stunning Mr. Irrelevant draft pick who's turned out to be a really good quarterback, and you can put really good players around him because you're not paying your quarterback an arm and a leg like most teams have to do. But they got to take advantage of it soon, or that window is going to tighten up on them pretty soon. So huge season for the Niners. They're my Super Bowl pick this year for San Francisco. No one's ever won 3 in a row. That's why I didn't pick the Chiefs ever in NFL history. And the Jets, of course, are basically...
Did the Patriots win 3 in a row?
No. No one's ever won 3 Super Bowls in a row.
Huh.
Ever.
What's your lock of the week? You're not a gambling man, but if you were...
Like my Survivor pick?
No, just your lock of the week.
Oh, like with spread?
With the spread, if you had to bet.
I will go as my lock of the week...
There's no
You're the Bears
favorites.
at home. I'm gonna
really.
I think
you're gonna lay the 3.5.
I think the Bears are going to be better than people expect.
Okay,
I'm gonna lay the 3.5. I think Tennessee, without Derrick Henry anymore, they're probably going to be one of the lower tier teams and get on it early before the spreads start to change. Chicago, all of a sudden, is going to be better than people think. Tennessee's going to be pretty bad. This is going to be the best price you're going to get all season for these teams.
I lost a lot of money on the Bills last year. I'm going to continue to lose a lot of money on the Bills. I'm going to take the Bills minus 6.5 against the Cardinals. I know there's been a lot of talk. Kyler Murray was going very high in drafts, which I've watched Kyler Murray
finally
play.
First healthy season in 2 years,
sure.
Right?
He's also got a receiver to throw to. He's got some weapons, but I think the Bills win by at least 7.
All right.
I will take my lock is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. always hesitant to pick them early in the season because you never know what they're going to look like. But they are on the road taking on the Cleveland Browns, and Dallas is getting 2.5 points.
Yes, that's a good pick.
And I wonder if that has to do with, I think CeeDee Lamb, I drafted him on my fantasy team. I think he's questionable, but that's just because he was holding out and they're not sure. He'll play.
He's going to be fine.
He's going to play.
Yeah, CeeDee
So
Lamb.
I don't know if that's going to change the line or not, but if I had to bet money right now, I would probably throw it there.
All right, football threesome.
That's our football threesome.
Feels good.
Right now, though, it's time to call in to win a pair of tickets to Saturday's San Diego State football game against Oregon State. You can get your tickets at goaztecs.com. Second game of the Sean Lewis era. Do we have the Frank Drebin sounder for the call in yet? Did we find that one?
We did.
Here's your call in to win. 833-288-0973. Tickets to Aztecs
Nice
Beavers.
Thank you. I just had it stuffed.
Let me help you with that. It's incredible. Just incredible. And she hands him an actual
taxidermy
stuffed
beaver.
beaver.
Wait, what were you guys thinking about?
It's just incredible.
833-288-0973. Your chance to win Aztecs Beavers tickets for Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. All right, Paulie's got a roundel report. There was actually a big baseball story late last night.
Yeah.
I think Jeff Passan broke it. We haven't
I didn't
even talked
think
about it
to
yet.
put it in the Roundel Report, knowing the Roundel Report is at 9:30. I'm like, well, we'll talk
get
about
to it.
that in 3.5 hours.
It involves the NL West, and we have not talked about it in 3.5 hours. Stories we didn't get to in the Roundel Report coming up next on 97.3 The Fan. Another 9-figure signing in baseball. Paulie's going to let us know all about it coming up here in the Rindle Report. First, this hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. If your supply chain demands a flexible workforce, hire with Express Employment Professionals with contract and full-time workers from Express Employment. You get the staff you need and manage contingent labor costs. Learn more at expresspros.com. That's expresspros.com. Paulie's headlines coming up right after the traffic report here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Viejas Casino and Resort. It has been a busy morning, and guess what, guys? We're not over it yet. Got a crash in the clearing stage on northbound 15 before the 8. Several vehicles involved. They're all over the right shoulder and southbound side of the 805 to the eastbound King Freeway connector ramp. 2-vehicle accident over to the right shoulder. Got a stall on southbound 5 right at the Coronado Bridge. It's over to the right shoulder. And in the North County, deal with a collision on southbound 15 before Valley Parkway. Several vehicles involved in this one, trying to get that moved out of middle lanes. Viejas Casino and Resort is home to the best players club in My Viejas. Start earning points toward incredible rewards like free gifts, concert tickets, hotel stays, dining discounts, and more. It's time to ditch the other guys and join the best. The My Viejas Players Club, Viejas Casino and Resort. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a oh yeah? Oh yeah.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we had some big news last night in baseball. I think this came down pretty late in the evening. A little passing bomb, but San Francisco Giants have announced that they have agreed to a 6-year, $151 million contract extension with third baseman Matt Chapman, who he had a very up and down offseason. Did not get the money that he was hoping for, right? And
Was he one of those guys too?
Wasn't he a Boris
Yes, he
client?
was.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was.
He was the
Still
third
is.
or the
Still
fourth
is.
Boris guy that just did not get the big contract that he was hoping for. Maybe it was a 3-year, $54 million contract is what he ended up signing with the Giants. And so this new contract, the 6-year deal, it's going to start next year. It's going to just completely wipe out those last 2 years remaining on the first deal. And then, 6 years, 151.
Bad deal for the Giants. You know how I know that?
What?
Scott Boras wouldn't have signed it otherwise. They were about to go to free agency again. And he decided, no, I'll just take what the Giants are offering me right now because I don't think I can get more in free agency. Which tells you, bad deal for the Giants.
Fair. But good player. Good player.
Yeah, I do like Matt Chapman.
I do too, man. And now you got you got another guy in your division that he's got to go up against for the Gold Glove. And I know the metrics aren't there necessarily for Manny Machado and a Gold Glove this season, Benny. But Matt Chapman is a really good one, man. He is a real fun dude to watch play when you're not playing against him. He's a thief down there.
I wonder if it's a sign that Scott Boras is changing his tune a little bit
Changing
after
his
the last
ways.
offseason and how it didn't work out so well that maybe we should be a little more aggressive in trying to re-sign players before they hit free agency.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not a bad idea.
It's a pivot. They call that a pivot. You may proceed.
Well, let's pivot from football back to football.
Football.
We mentioned it about an hour ago, actually, a little over an hour ago when it happened, when the news came down, that Alex Morgan is retiring from professional soccer. She will be playing her last game this Sunday, 5 o'clock for Wave FC. And I did want to... She posted like a 4+ minute long video. I wanted to at least play a little bit of that and just hear from her directly. This was Alex Morgan. The video she posted on social media this morning.
I'm going to get to the point quickly. I'm retiring, and I have so much clarity about this decision, and I'm so happy to be able to finally tell you. It has been a long time coming, and this decision wasn't easy. But at the beginning of 2024, I felt in my heart and soul that this was the last season that I would play soccer. Soccer has been a part of me for 30 years, and it was one of the first things that I ever loved. And I gave everything to this sport, and what I got in return was more than I could have ever dreamed of. Success for me is defined by never giving up and giving your all. And I did just that. I'm giving my all every single day on the field. And I did that, giving my all in the relentless push for global investment in women's sports, because we deserve that. Giving my all in my various businesses beyond the soccer field, and giving my all as a mom to my daughter, Charlie. Charlie came up to me the other day and said that when she grows up, she wants to be a soccer player. And it just made me like immensely proud. Not because I wish for her to become a soccer player when she grows up, but because a pathway exists that even a 4-year-old can see now. We're changing lives, and the impact we have on the next generation is irreversible. And I'm proud in the hand I had in making that happen, in pushing the game forward, in leaving it in a place that I'm so happy and proud of.
Pretty awesome. And later on in the video, she goes on to let everybody know that her daughter, Charlie, will be a big sister pretty soon. Awesome. She's pregnant with her second child, so that probably has a lot to do with it as well. But what a career, what a person, and what a great representative for the Wave. And just, yeah, I mean, a huge day in female sports and sports overall.
I'm glad that, feels like Alex seems like she's at peace and happy with that decision. I only wish she could have gone out on a better season for her and the team. It's been a really rough year for the Wave. They're near the bottom of the table. Alex personally was dealing with injuries for much of the early part of the season, has not even scored a goal yet this season. And then they had the off-the-field stuff with the new coaches and the changing and the accusations of, from former employees.
Workplace, all that.
It's been a rough season for the San Diego Wave, and it would have been great if Alex could have gone out, championship run through the playoffs and have her team carry her off on their shoulders after a title. Probably not going to happen that way now, especially if she's retiring after this game. But
it's going to be tough.
I would love to at least see her go out with a win and a goal.
Would be so clutch
in this Sunday's game against North Carolina.
Yep.
And they need a win pretty badly. They take most of the teams in the playoffs in the NWSL. You just get in, and then you've got a shot. Right now, they wouldn't be in, though, so they need a couple of wins here down the stretch to get back in to the playoff spot. And Alex Morgan can still help them do that in this game on Sunday, her final soccer game.
Yeah,
I hope she scores.
It kind of bums me out. I'm self-admitted, I'm not a huge soccer fan. Have not been to a Wave game. I'd love to go. Just haven't made it out there yet. But I just feel like it was a little irresponsible by not watching more of Alex Morgan while she was right here in our backyard.
Same way. Happens to me all the time.
Like,
I do that all the time.
She is one of the greatest ever. She was right here. We haven't had her on the show.
Yeah.
Haven't been to a match. And I'm like, I kind of screwed that one up.
Fair enough.
All right. Finally, the internet is split here.
This is a great bit.
So somebody posted a couple days ago, said, my wife and I had our honeymoon in Italy exactly a year ago, and I just got an Italian speeding ticket in the mail 1 year later. Do I actually have to pay this thing? What happens if I don't? I don't know the answer.
You'd have to be a real degenerate to get a ticket in a foreign country and not pay it. Like a real lowlife.
I think I just I'd pay that right away, and I don't even think about it. Right? You're like, I don't want some international.
Yes. You don't want Interpol showing up at your door.
I'd like to go back to Italy at some point.
Paul, you're a man of your word, too. Did you break the law? You did? Then you pay the price. You'd have to be a real sack of S not to do that. Just at the lowest of the low.
I got a parking ticket in London. Didn't
how much
pay
did
it.
that cost you?
I don't know. It was too confusing to figure it out.
No, I knew that.
Okay,
story.
so
obviously I knew
yes, obviously you did. So when we went to cover the Chargers in London in 2009, was it? And or 2008, and we stayed in an Airbnb kind of outside the city. Parking's tough though in all around that area.
Any major city.
Yeah.
Yes, very tough.
So there was this lot, a pay lot, right across from where we were, which I knew, and I parked in the pay lot and put the sticker that I did pay for parking. I put the sticker in the window where it was supposed to go, but somehow it got flipped over. And so it was facing down instead of facing up. And they gave me a ticket. And I'm like, wait, so I paid for parking. I had the ticket there, and like a breeze or something flipped it over, and now I have to pay a 100-pound parking ticket because of that? Well, that certainly doesn't seem fair. I pretty much assumed had I been able to fight it, like if we weren't leaving town in 2 days, I would have been able to get a barrister who could have gotten me off the charges. Because I had the receipt. It showed that I was there and the time. I had paid for the time. And they just couldn't see it because the piece of paper had flipped over.
You're a monster.
Somebody said, get this thug out of radio right now.
I don't really know what happened.
God.
I was worried for several months, like it was going to catch up to me.
You have a warrant out for your arrest.
I figured, it was a rental car, obviously. So I thought, well, are they going to charge?
Pay you a ticket, you
and maybe Channel 10 paid it at some point because it was on a Channel 10 credit card because it was a work trip. But no one ever told me or anything. So
you never followed up.
And technically, it wasn't even in my name. It was in our photographer's name. So I guess technically it wasn't my ticket. But
he's probably in prison right now, rotting for you not being able to turn the receipt right side up.
He actually texted me yesterday asking who was the voice in our Don't Do This. And I said, that's
my wife.
That's our former colleague, Lauren Nancaro's daughter, Hannah Nancaro.
Yep, my beloved wife.
Who is married to Stephen
Don't
Lewis.
do this.
Yes.
Shrill.
So he's not.
Gets me every time.
He's not in. He's not in the Isle of Man prison or wherever they put parking deviants.
Where they used to put Charles Dickens' father or whatever, the debtor's prison.
The original post says, "Do I actually have to pay this thing? What happens if I don't?" And the comments,
I don't know.
They didn't disappoint. Somebody says they waterboard you with tomato sauce when you try to come back. This guy says, just forget about it.
So, but he got a speeding ticket, it was?
Yeah.
In the land known for Lamborghinis.
Maseratis.
And cars that go fast.
Yeah.
This guy says,
Formula One racing.
Please pay your ticket. We need the money.
We needed the money. Remember when we went to Arizona, Paul, and I came back and I had not one, but two hidden speeding tickets from the cop wasn't even in his car.
It was the empty cop car with a camera.
Two!
We knew exactly where it was.
Inflatable cop.
Guy got me twice.
All right, we are going to be right back in about 5 minutes with the round table with everybody.
Yes.
Paulie, we'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. to wrap up the week right here with Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Don't go away.